Bedard likes to kick it to the corners. This one straight away and not returnable. Although Stanback thought about it for a moment, it'll come out to the 25. Blake Bortles, 25 touchdowns, only 7 picks last year, and you see just 1 interception this year with 7 touchdowns. We talked about the fact he's number 3 in the country in QBR. He is 5th in pass efficiency rating.
Yeah, what really stands out to me with college quarterbacks in a lot of cases is that completion percentage. You saw over 70%. That's astronomical, and I think it's because of his patience, his understanding and knowledge of the game. He's got good pieces around him. The wide receivers that you're going to see today, Godfrey, Wharton, and Perriman, all good options for Blake Bortles.
Bortles with Johnson next to him. Johnson, a transfer from Miami, coming off his best game with UCF. 117 yards rushing in the win against Penn State. Out in the flat to Josh Reese, and he's wrapped up at the 29-yard line by Kadietrix Marcus. Today's Impact Players brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, and you talked about Storm Johnson. He was the backup to Lamar Miller at the University of Miami, transferred here to UCF and has become a star. But he's going to have a tough go of it today, obviously, with Clowney on the other side. And UCF's going to have all kinds of plans for Jadeveon Clowney. Spreading to him, turning the offensive line to him. They've got to throw the ball quickly. He's down here at the bottom of the screen. Got to have a plan for him every single time you snap the ball.
Bortles pass on the money. Past the 40-yard line, across the 45, Rennell Hill. Out near midfield, that's a 20-yard gain before Bryson Williams gets down Hall.
Expect a lot of quick passing game to neutralize Clowney. That ball gets out of Bortles' hands quickly. He's very accurate with the football, just a drag slant. And Rennell Hall is that player. You get the ball in his hands. He's a punt returner, kick returner. You get him in space, and he can make plays with his feet.
Bortles 2 for 2 for 24 yards. Here's Johnson, and he runs through Clowney that time. Brought down on the South Carolina side of the field at the 48-yard line for a pickup of about 3.
I think if you're UCF coming into this game, you understand that in some situations you may be outmatched from an athlete standpoint, but the approach coming in is great to be aggressive, throw the ball first 3 snaps of the game, throw it quickly so you don't have to protect Clowney, get something going on offense, because if you're going to stay in this game, you're going to have to score points.
And that's something they've done this year, 34 points or more in all 3 games. First time in school history through the first 3 contests. After their best start since '88 when they were Division II school. And Bortles throws to the other flat. J.J. Wharton cannot get away from Bryson Williams. So a gain of only a couple there. It brings up 3rd down.
And that's not a bad play. It's an extension of their running game, but more importantly, it gets them out of 3rd and long. 3rd and 4 is a manageable situation to try to block number 7. You get in 3rd and 7, 8, 9, it's almost impossible to block Clowney, but now you have the opportunity to throw the ball quick and still get a 1st down.
Clowney at right defensive end, where he lines up for about 80% of the snaps. They double team him, and Bortles throws complete for a 1st down to the 40-yard line to Josh Reese. That's 2 catches already for Reese. He had 5 through the first 3 games.
Well, you mentioned to it, they slide, double team Clowney. That's checked off, and now just throw the ball accurately. It's just a spot route on the high side. You have a corner route by the tight end. The receiver just goes down past first down yard depth and turns around, and Bortles puts it right on him.
4 for 4 for Bortles on this opening drive. From the South Carolina 41st and 10. Here's Johnson, and he gets nailed at the point of attack. Knifing in to make the play was the middle linebacker, Kawan Lewis. That's a position that South Carolina has struggled a bit this year. Linebacker, they have 2 sophomores and a junior that start.
Well, we watched Georgia, and specifically Todd Gurley, carve up this South Carolina defense, and it was mainly because of that second level. Those young linebackers not fitting and not reading that offense correctly, but that time Lewis did a nice job.
So no gain, 7th play of the drive coming up. And Here comes Clowney. Bortles gets it away, incomplete, and boy, it looked like contact. Legree and Hall, but no penalty marker, and so it's 3rd down and 10.
Bortles had to throw that ball, as you mentioned before, he wanted to because of Clowney, and yeah, it looked like Legree got there a little early on Hall.
You could even argue a lot early. He was trained all over him, and the ball had not even gotten close to him, but no marker. It's 3rd down and 10.
3rd and 10. Got to be aware of where he is. Got a tight end over there to help.
Bortles dumps it off, and a great move by Johnson. Spins out of a tackle all the way to the 20. A 20-yard pickup by the talented Storm Johnson, a junior out of Georgia.
Been a reoccurring problem for the secondary for South Carolina is coming up and making tackles. They've got so many young players back there. Just a simple drop-off. Now you got to get them on the ground. One move from Storm Johnson, and UCF is in business inside the 20.
Got 7 total touchdowns on the year. It's in the top 5 nationally. Started out with University of Miami. Here's Bortles on the run. Oh, he faked the pitch, and he's inside the 5 before he's cut down. UCF carving up the Carolina defense on the opening drive.
Well, we mentioned the linebackers. Marquise Roberts gets caught inside, and that leaves Bryson Williams, the safety, in no man's land. Easy read and a nice call by Charlie Tapp, the offensive coordinator.
Bortles did run for 8 touchdowns last year, 1 this year. Now 1st down and goal. They shift 2 men now over to Clowney's side. And the pitch to Johnson. He's in. Touchdown. Central Florida with a great opening drive, and the Knights punch it in with Johnson. So he talked about the fact that Central Florida can score. 75-yard drive. They have plays of 18, 20, and 21 yards. And the point after by Moffitt. That's a statement drive by Central Florida. And Storm Johnson from a yard out with the cutback, the dive for 6. Storm Johnson on a catch and run of 21 yards on 3rd down and 10. And then Johnson with a touchdown run to make it 7-0.
Well, and 2 big 3rd down completions for conversions from Blake Bortles, and looked like South Carolina had him stopped, but their inability to get Storm Johnson on the ground led to a big play and a touchdown.
Connor Shaw waiting his turn. He's had a terrific year. Only 1 turnover. That was a lost fumble. No interceptions by Shaw so far in 2013. Sean Calvin will kick off. Bruce Ellington is deep. And South Carolina will start on the 25. Shaw against Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago. Very impressive. Only 8 incompletions in 29 attempts. Almost 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I was thinking about Connor Shaw coming into this game, and it seems like he continually gets no respect in the conference, right? You got all the M&M brothers, right? Murray and McCarron and Mettenberger and Manziel, and nobody talks about Connor Shaw. And then even on his own team, it's always the Jadeveon Clowney show. But make no mistake, Connor Shaw is the engine that's driving South Carolina this year so far. This offense is playing as good as it's ever played at South Carolina, and it's big part because of Connor Shaw.
He'll be without, though, maybe his top receiver, Shaq Rowland, suspended for today's game. Violation of athletic department policy. Shaw, very good runner. He'll take off here and head for the sideline. A gain of 6. Today's Impact Player is brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
You mentioned Mike Davis, and I was down on the field talking with Coach Spurrier before the game, and he said, you know, they really surprised us in the spring, and then in the offseason had a great work ethic, came in shape, and really has taken the SEC by storm. And then on defense for Terrence Plummer, the linebacker for UCF, has a tough job trying to track Davis in the formation and get him on the ground. Not an easy thing to do.
6-yard run by Connor Connor Shaw. And here's Ellington gets past the 30, but short of the first down. Sean Magg on the stop. We'll see a lot of nickel. And what George O'Leary calls penny is where they bring a safety and play him as a linebacker.
And this Central Florida defense they've got a tough assignment. So many different weapons for South Carolina on offense, and they don't match up physically with the big offensive line for South Carolina, but they've got to find a way just to get enough stops in this game to stay with them.
3rd down and 2. Shaw out on the flat. And Bird able to make the defender miss and get the first down to the 37-yard line.
This is the unconventional triple option. Connor Shaw can give it on the dive, or he can run it himself, or he can flip it out late. It was very well played by Central Florida, but just didn't get him on the ground on the outside, but very well played.
Shaw to the air on 1st and 10. Steps up and runs. And dives to the 44-yard line. 7-yard pickup. Troy Gray gets Connor Shaw to the ground.
You know, Connor Shaw, the thing that jumps out on the film that I've watched this year is he's so much more comfortable in the pocket. He's played some good defense. Played Vanderbilt's a good defense. Played Carolina. Played Georgia, obviously. And he seems to be much more comfortable throwing from the pocket. That time, nice job of looking downfield and surveying, and nothing there. Put it under his arm and making some positive yards.
And the first carry of the day for Davis, and he is swallowed in the backfield by Thomas Niles. The UCF coach has told us yesterday that Niles has to step up and play better than he did in the first 3 games. Makes a big play there on 2nd down for a loss.
Yeah, and give Demetrius Anderson, the defensive tackle, a little bit of credit as well, getting that initial penetration. Brings up a big 3rd and 6. If UCF can get a stop on the first play, on the first drive here, it'd be huge.
They go with an empty set. Again, Shaw threat to run, as we've seen already. Had over 200 rushing yards through 3 games coming in. Shaw in trouble, but gets out of there and appears to have the first down. There was contact made in the backfield, but Shaw escaped, and they'll spot him right at the 47-yard line.
Looked like it was Niles again in the backfield that got initial pressure on Connor Shaw. Shaw is so hard to keep contained. I mean, people don't realize how shifty he is and his awareness of when rushers are coming at him, that one slight movement can free him up and he can hurt you with his feet.
And he gets the first down. So 2 3rd down conversions for South Carolina on its opening drive. And if you're Shaw and you're watching film on Central Florida, what's going through your mind?
Well, I think you're very confident, right? He's coming into this game very confident because they've played well the first 3 games of the season. You look at UCF, and they don't have the players that Georgia has. They don't have the players that Vanderbilt or even North Carolina has. So coming into this game, I think Connor Shaw wants to make a statement and wants to continue his development and put as many points on the board as they possibly can.
Got the fullback behind him and the tailback in front of him here on this play. As Shaw has a ton of time, but everybody covered. Shaw again leaving the pocket and throws it away. It was Thomas Niles again with pressure. Penalty flag is down. Boy, so far the secondary downfield for UCF has done a very good job.
Offside defense, number 69. 5-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
That's on Niles. David Smith, our referee, former Alabama quarterback. We have an SEC crew today.
Well, you're absolutely right. UCF has done a very nice job in coverage so far in this game. 3 times we've seen they've had nice coverage downfield and forced Connor Shaw to pull the ball down.
So a 1st down and 5, South Carolina on the UCF side of the field for the first time. Shaw again to pass. Looking downfield and airing it out. Into double coverage and overthrown. Trying for Nick Jones. Again, well defended.
Very well defended by Ozerites and Brandon Alexander. They double team on the back end, and there's nowhere to throw that football. Very good coverage. One of the areas that UCF was concerned about was whether they could play man-to-man coverage on the back end and run with the athletes that South Carolina has. And so far, Ozerites has done a nice job.
South Carolina averaging 480 yards per game. That's the best mark for the Gamecocks through 3 games in school history. They've run for over 220 yards in each game against Georgia, Vanderbilt, and North Carolina. Here's a little option for Shaw, and he'll keep. And Shaw, another run, but he coughed it up. A penalty marker down. Central Florida has the ball. Brandon Alexander with the recovery. Connor Shaw is hurt. He's had shoulder injuries in the past. Let's see what the penalty marker is for. It was a live ball foul. Came flying in on the fumble.
Blocking the back, number 1 on the offense. Spurrier's decline. First down, UCF.
And there's no question Steve Spurrier is less concerned about the fumble on that play and more concerned about his quarterback, Connor Shaw. He broke back, and Plummer, the linebacker, came in and forces the hit, and that ball gets loose. Connor Shaw comes down awkward. Big turnover.
He injures himself here on this play. Hard to tell if it was on contact with the ground with a teammate from the defender, but he went to the locker room. They do have a capable backup in Dylan Thompson, who started 2 games last year when Shaw was injured, including a win over Clemson. Thompson, a very good passer. He's thrown 10 passes this year.
Of all the teams in college football to lose their starting quarterback, South Carolina might be in the best shape, but certainly Connor Shaw is one of the toughest players in all of college football. We saw that a year ago. To play with that cracked scapula for the remainder of the year was impressive. But now it looks like Dylan Thompson's going to get his chance in this game.
Central Florida with its second drive. An impressive opening possession where they marched down the field 75 yards in 10 plays. Pitch to Johnson on first down. Out past the 40 to the 41 for 5 yards. Let's bring in Tom Luganville.
Fellas, they rushed Connor Shaw to the locker room quickly, and this wasn't something that was, hey, let's check him out. This was distinctly something wrong, and there's a lot of concern right now. They're going to come right back out. I'll get a report as soon as I can, but it does look serious, and Connor Shaw was going into the locker room in severe pain.
His defense has got to help him out here too, Luke. They've struggled on that first possession, and then 6 yards on the ground for Johnson on first down, and now Bortles will throw. It's a screen pass. And a good play in the open field by the corner, Victor Hampton, cutting down Johnson. A loss on the play. 3rd down and 6 now.
Well, if you're UCF now, what an opportunity. And you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal offensively. That was a great play by Hampton, because if he doesn't make that play, he could still be running with Storm Johnson down the sideline.
We're 2 for 2 on 3rd down on their first possession. Clowney lined up at right defensive end. Very wide here on this 3rd down. And Bortles throws incomplete. Pass was wide of the intended receiver, Josh Reese. So a 3-and-out by the Knights after the takeaway.
Now it's a missed opportunity for Blake Bortles. Normally he puts that ball right on the numbers. Great job by the tight end getting a chip on Clowney. Great protection. That ball has got to be put right on the numbers of Reese there, and which one Bortles would like to have back.
Caleb Houston, a freshman punter, and Hampton, the deep man for South Carolina. And not a good punt. And it takes a South Carolina bounce. The Gamecocks will have the ball around their 34-yard line. We saw Shaw run very well on that first drive until he fumbled. See his numbers over the course of his career. Here's Mike Davis trying to find a hole. And he can't get away from Jordan Ozerites. But still a good pickup of about 6 yards.
Well, and you're right. They're not going to use the quarterback run as much. Thompson can run the ball. It's just not as effective as Connor Shaw. What you're going to see now is a heavy dose of Mike Davis. And I think because of the fact that Shaq Rowland is not here in this game today, that affects Dylan Thompson a little bit more than it would Connor Shaw, because Thompson is almost exclusively a passer.
He just joined us. Rowland suspended for at least 1 game. Violation of athletic department policy. Here's Davis. And he crosses the 45 and has the first down. Those are rights on the stop. Well, we barely saw Davis on that first drive, but he's featured here on the first couple of plays of drive 2. Right shoulder sprain is what we're being told about Connor Shaw. He'll be reevaluated. He's tough. He's played through injury in the past, but again, Spurrier comfortable with Dylan Thompson. He's played in 2 of the 3 games. He'll throw for the first time. Got nailed and overthrew his man. Incomplete. And no penalty flag for grounding. Let's go to the studio and check in with Robert Flores.
All right, guys, you know, last week West Virginia was shut out by Oklahoma. They're down 7-8 until Ishmael Banks intercepts J.W. Walsh, and he dives into the end zone. They're tied at 7 on ESPN, late first quarter.
Oklahoma State ranked 1 spot ahead of South Carolina. Gamecocks trail 7-0 at the 4-minute mark of the opening quarter. And Thompson dumps it off to Davis. Dangerous in the open field. Tackled from behind and did well to secure the football. Pickup of 8 yards for Davis.
This is a designed play just for Davis. You'll see the right guard releases. That's Ronald Patrick to get the block on Plummer on the second level. Everybody else runs off. That's designed 100% of the way for Mike Davis. They're going to hand it to him in the backfield, Dave. They're also going to try to throw the ball to him on screens and plays just like that to get him more touches.
In 3 games, he has a pair of 75-yard runs. Most guys don't have one of those in a career. He's got that through 3 games. His backup, Brandon Wilds, is in a pretty good player in his own right. And here's Thompson going to run it. And he goes nowhere. It's smashed by Terrence Plummer, who forced the fumble on Shaw. A loss on the play. So 3rd down and long coming up now for South Carolina.
Boy, you get a sense in this stadium and with this Central Florida team that they're just building confidence with each play that comes. That was 3rd down. Now we'll bring up 4th down, and they have stopped this South Carolina offense on consecutive drives.
And it was Plummer again that did it there on that 3rd down play. Tyler Hall will punt. J.J. Wharton is deep. South Carolina's had some problems on special teams this year. They just got that punt away. Ward will let it go. And it will stay in bounds and die at the 3-yard line. Beautifully done by Tyler Hall. The 3rd series for UCF coming up. The biggest game on their schedule, considering while this game is meaningful for the program, it doesn't mean anything in terms of a BCS bid being in the American Athletic Conference. They inherited the Big East bid for 2013. Their big game is at Louisville on October 18th, a game that'll be on ESPN. And if you just joined us, Brian, right at the outset, said he thinks Blake Bortles is playing better than Teddy Bridgewater.
I think both guys are outstanding. I just think so far through 4 games this year, Blake Bortles is playing out of his mind, and they're going to need him to play in this game out of his mind. They're going to be South Carolina.
Here's Johnson up to the 5-yard line and stood up there, and then he powers past 3 defenders out to the 7. Well, the other thing with Bortles is you're not the only one who's noticing. Bill O'Brien, who obviously knows quarterbacks, with Tom Brady with the Patriots, very high marks for Bortles after their loss to UCF 2 weeks ago.
And you see here the QBR, he's only behind Bryce Petty and Marcus Mariota. I mean, 2 guys that are in offenses that are so up-tempo and so fast and so productive. So people might need to start realizing that Blake Bortles is legit.
6 of 8 passing so far. In trouble in his end zone, but got rid of it. Out past the 10-yard line is Kevin Miller all the way to the 16 for a first down. Oh, Gerald Dixon had pressure on Bortles, and he got rid of it just in time.
Well, Bortles is 6'5", 230 pounds, so it's not like he's going to go down easily. Nice job in recognition and knowing that he's got to get rid of that football quick on the naked. And then one broken tackle gets a first down. But
First down and 10 from the 16.
Had nowhere to go for Johnson that time. He's dropped by T.J. Holloman in the backfield.
And we were talking this week with the South Carolina defensive coordinator Lorenzo Ward. He was talking about his linebacker crew and how maligned they've been in the first 3 games of the season. And they're trying to replace so much there. No more DJ Swearinger or Devontae Holloman. They've got a bunch of young players on that level, and they've been exposed at times. And he said, we're going to simplify things. Just play man-to-man coverage, some 8-man boxes. Make sure those guys know exactly where to line up and where to go, and let their athleticism take over.
As you saw Clowney out of the game as Bortles fires complete. Out to the 38-yard line is Brashad Perriman. Another first down for the Knights.
Clowney out of the game. You know you're going to have a good pocket to throw from, and great feet and timing there. Brashad Perriman is the biggest wide receiver on this UCF team, 6'2", 210 pounds, and you get that ball anywhere in his frame, he's going to come down with it. Big play to get out from the shadow of your own goalpost.
And now Clowney back on the field, lined up with right defensive end on every play so far. He said a couple weeks ago he wants to be moved around. We'll see if they do it, put him over the nose or at left end. Run play towards Clowney, and Johnson stays in bounds. How about that? A lot of running backs would have just headed out of play, but he got an extra 3 yards after contact by Jordan Diggs and close to a first down.
If you're going to beat South Carolina at home, you better have plays like that, effort plays.
This presentation of college football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings will continue.
X-rays. I'm awaiting the latest report as they just brought him back out to the sideline, guys. I'll get that to you as soon as I get it.
As we mentioned earlier, had that cracked right clavicle last year that bothered him. It'll be Dylan Thompson apparently the rest of the way for South Carolina. Here's Blake Bortles at quarterback for UCF. And Storm Johnson plows past everybody to get the first down to midfield. Our Pacific Life game summary. As UCF leads at 7-0. Clowney no tackles, 19 snaps. He's been at right defensive end every play. And Bortles has been efficient. 8 of 10, 81 yards.
Couldn't have been a better start for UCF. Blake Bortles has been efficient so far. They've got their running game going. Storm Johnson has made plays in the running game as well as the passing game. So they've got some rhythm on offense.
And it is first down after Johnson gained about 5 in the last play. Here's Bortles firing high and incomplete. Open at the 35-yard line was Godfrey, but the pass was too high.
Well, they fake out, go lightly. The linebacker right here, take a look. They're going to fake the screen. Go lightly reacts, and that's what opens up Godfrey wide open. And that ball just needs to be put on his chest. I think he was thinking he was going to keep running downfield, and Godfrey stopped, and they were not on the same page.
So second down and 10. 127 yards of offense for UCF. South Carolina a few weeks ago against Georgia gave up 536 as Bortles keeps and grabbed at the ankles. It was go lightly on the tackle. We saw Clowney lined up at right defensive end again there, Brian, and he talked a couple weeks ago about wanting to move around. Why, obviously, Lorenzo Ward for a reason isn't doing it. What could that be?
Well, there could be a number of different things. I think one of the things you don't want to do is confuse the other young linebackers, and if you don't line him up at one spot, if you bring him in the middle in the A-gap or over a 3 technique, one of those things, that changes the assignments of all of the linebackers, which could lead to confusion.
Here he comes off the right edge, and he missed the sack. Bortles lost the ball. Got it back. Kelsey Quarles with the sack force fumble, but it was Clowney who ignited that play.
It's the first step. That's what makes a difference with Clowney. Not only how fast it is, but look how long it is. He's in the backfield. They tried to chip him with a tight end and then allow Torian Wilson to clean up on him, but just too fast and too long. Got in the backfield quickly.
So Caleb Houston will punt, only 27 yards on his first kick. Victor Hampton, the deep man. This is a better punt. And Hampton fields it on his 5, and he's wrapped up around the 1-yard line. Michael Easton, the gunner, makes the play, and they'll spot him down at the 3.
South Carolina, during their bye week, worked on their special teams. It's been an area that Steve Spurrier has put emphasis on, and another mistake in the kicking game by Hampton backs him up.
And also a game against East Carolina a year ago. He's a junior. And they'll put him in the end zone and an empty set here on first down. After another poor play on special teams by the Gamecocks. Thompson with time, long throw, and it's pulled in just short of the 20 by Demir Bird, a gain of 15 yards.
And this is what you see from Dylan Thompson, the ability to throw the football from the pocket, anticipate throws. That was a long throw, not typically out of your own end zone. Right. You're going to throw a 20-yard comeback on the outside, but Steve Spurrier has supreme confidence in Dylan Thompson's ability to operate from the pocket.
Thompson 2 of 3 passing here so far. He'll throw again. Blitz coming. Got rid of it, and it's incomplete. Looked like they're trying to set up a screen there. Brandon Wilds, who's a very good receiver out of the backfield. E.J. Dunston was there for UCF.
Sorry, David. Great read by the defensive line. You see they break through. Dunston sees the screen and gets over there. That's just good coaching, is to know the pressure points that the offensive linemen are putting on you. And if they leave too early, avoid rushing the quarterback and find the screen. Nice job.
Thompson to the air again. And overthrows Ellington. Had Sean Magg running with him. So it's 3rd down and 10. South Carolina's won 17 straight games in the regular season against non-SEC teams, going back to 2008.
UCF here. I'm trying to get this crowd involved. 3rd and 10. I might bring some pressure. See if I can get to Dylan Thompson. But you got to be able to hold up a man-to-man on the back end.
They go out of an empty set, 5 wide. Rush 4. Thompson steps up, looking to run. Now lobs it downfield. And Ellington had it, then lost it. Wait a second, they ruled it a catch, but you've got to complete the catch to the ground. They ruled it a catch at the 45 and then said he was down. And then the ball came out, but you've got to complete the catch all the way to the ground.
Yeah. And I think South Carolina's going to try to snap this ball before they have a chance to take another look at it. He's got 2 feet on the ground. That's definitely a catch.
Yeah, I guess they're saying he became a runner, and then when he hit the ground, the ball came out. Here's Thompson, and throws it high to his check down. Rory Anderson, incomplete. Looked a little skittish in the pocket that time.
Well, he wanted to go back to Bird on the outside with a comeback route, and it was covered well on the outside by Jacoby Glenn. He just came out of the check down and threw it high. And when you throw it high as a quarterback, that means nerves, right? You're trying to get rid of that ball real fast.
A little skittish there.
Yeah, he does. This is a tough situation, right? I mean, Connor Shaw is going to play this game. You come in on a team you're supposed to beat in a hostile environment here, and you got to calm down a little bit.
And Thompson's pass into traffic pulled in by Anderson. A gain of 6. Brian, let me ask you this. Obviously, Thompson knew he was going to play some. He plays in just about every game, but you hear coaches say all the time, well, the backup's preparing as if he's a starter. Is that realistic for a player?
Well, I think it is realistic. I just think that see the starting quarterback go down, and then he comes out without his pads on. It hits you. Hey, man, this game is in my hands. Nobody is going to save me. I've got to go out, lead the team, become that leader in the huddle, and make plays. And there's a certain element of nerves that come along with that, naturally.
Here's 3rd down, a little half roll through the hands of Ellington. Incomplete. It's 4th down.
Great coverage by Troy Gray there. Ellington very quick in the slot, and Gray is a linebacker. That's a mismatch in the favor of South Carolina, but take a look, just gets enough. I don't think he got a hand on that, but very good coverage from Gray. You're going to need some of that in this game. You're going to need, if you're UCF, you're going to need some mistakes by South Carolina. You're going to need to make some plays and take some risks. So far, they've worked out.
Remember, this is a South Carolina team that scored 28 points easily in the first half as Warden has the fair catch at the 9-yard line. But so far, through a quarter and 4 minutes, the Gamecocks offense coming up with nothing. This week, he will get moved around, but we have not seen it yet. First down for UCF on its 10-yard line, and Bortles, and a nice grab and contact by Christian, reception by Hall. Let's check in with Robert.
Hey guys, last week West Virginia embarrassed by Maryland, lost 37-0, but they're up 14-7 on number 11 Oklahoma State on ESPN. Clint Trickett to Kevin White. Mountaineers up by a touchdown early second quarter at home.
Now finally, something positive going there for the Mountaineers. This has been a struggle. Gain of 7 on the last play. Bortles has thrown for 88 yards so far. They'll hand it off to Johnson. And Johnson able to find a hole on the outside and get 8 yards out to the 25.
Guys, I think South Carolina's defense has been surprised at the explosiveness and the quick twitch athleticism that Storm Johnson brings to the table. The inexperienced linebackers, that's a problem for Lorenzo Orr, the defensive coordinator. They're having a hard time breaking down in space. Storm Johnson looks like a freight train, but he's got go-kart type quickness, and it's a difficult adjustment right now for South Carolina on defense.
Tom, how about 43 yards after contact out of the 51 rushing yards? Didn't look like there was a hole there. He just broke it to the outside.
I can't get past the go-kart. Is that a good thing or a bad reference to be a go-kart?
Here's Johnson again finding a hole. The ball comes out, but he's ruled down at the 32, 7 yards on the play. Go ahead, Luke, so you can respond to that comment.
Hey, you guys know that go-karts have tight turns, man. They're quick and tight quarters. That's what this guy brings. He sees a crease, and you know what, fellas? Talking to George O'Leary yesterday, he said there was never any question about Storm Johnson's talent when he arrived on tape. We had to get him to be disciplined enough to adhere to the discipline of the run game. He wanted to bounce things to the perimeter. Now he trusts that O-line, and he's much more productive between the tackles.
They're getting chunk yards on the ground with him so far. Here's Johnson on second and short. Gets away from Clowney in the backfield. And then knocked down short of the first down. So a gain of 2 on the play.
Well, this is one where you want to have a go-kart. You get Clowney coming in there, you better be able to get outside. And that's a bounce there. So, no, I agree with Tom's assessment. You've got certain discipline that you have to have in the running game. As a running back, especially in a system like this, you need to make the cuts inside the hole, not before you get to the hole, but inside the hole. That's a very big difference that George O'Leary was telling us about yesterday. The big plays happen when you get in the hole and then make the cut rather than being premature.
There's a quarterback sneak on 3rd down and a yard by Bortles. It'll be close, just past the 35-yard line. Seen Bortles run it a few times, able to get outside. That time just plowed forward at his offensive line, and it's a first down.
Well, and once they get Storm Johnson going, it's going to open up the opportunities for Bortles with his feet. And if I were calling plays for UCF in this game, I would tell Blake Bortles at the beginning of the game, listen, you need to do anything and everything you can to win this game. We need to run you 25 times. That's what we need to do. If you throw it 35 times, that's what we need to do. But leave everything out on that field, and quarterback sneak is a part of it.
Bortles gets nailed as he throws it deep. Laying out is Wharton, but he can't make the catch. Incomplete. Jadeveon Clowney was on the sideline that time, but they still got pressure on Bortles, and the pass was just off the mark.
Well, this pass was perfectly thrown. That's a ball that Wharton has got to come down with. Normally very sure-handed. And when you see what happened to the quarterback that threw that ball, you would understand the receivers are expected to make that play because Bortles was on his back in the backfield.
Wharton had a big game in the win at Penn State, over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Couldn't come up with a play there, so it's second down and 10 midway through the second quarter. Still 7-0. Here's Godfrey out in the flat, the former quarterback. And he gets to the 39 for about 3 yards. Jimmy Legree, senior corner, on the stop. And here comes Clowney back on the field for a 3rd down and 7.
I think in these situations, UCF doesn't need to think that they've got to throw the ball 15 yards down the field to get a conversion on 3rd down. They can throw it 4 or 5 yards underneath and maybe break a tackle and get a 1st down so that they don't have to try to block Jadeveon Clowney for 5 seconds. Now Clowney's in walking around here.
Rarely see him standing up. They block him with 3 guys, and Bortles gets out of there and fires complete to Godfrey. 1st down to the 43-yard line of South Carolina. Now the Knights saw Clowney that time, and they blocked him.
Well, and Blake Bortles, too. You just kind of shuffle in the pocket. You know exactly where he is. Here's your problem. And so they're going to block him with the right guard, the center, and the back. And Bortles said, I'm just going to get outside the pocket. He's not over here on the left. I know I can go there. It's safe, and makes a big play.
That's got to be hard to simulate in practice. Terrific teamwork, though, by UCF up front. From the 43-yard line of the Gamecocks, 1st down. Off play action. Bortles looking downfield, and what a hit in the secondary. And a flag comes in. That'll be targeting on Williams rather, on the hit. Godfrey, the intended receiver.
Bryson Williams was a defender and a deep safety. This ball was going to be caught by Godfrey. See if he comes in with the crown of the helmet or the shoulder. That looked clearly to be the shoulder to me, and hits Godfrey on the back of the shoulder. It's a violent hit, yes. Is it targeting? No.
The officials are discussing it. And how else are you supposed to break up a pass?
Leads with the shoulder, not the crown of the helmet. This is a big play in the game. You got to come up and dislodge that ball.
Personal foul, targeting the defensive player, number 12, on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Number 12 is disqualified.
Here's the problem now. There's only been, out of 26 targeting calls, only 6 times has review overturned it. So the odds say he's not going to come back. But if he does come back, you don't take away the penalty. It's still a flag, and that was not a penalty.
Yeah.
But of course, it's under review. They'll look at it to see. But again, even if it is overturned, it's still a penalty flag. But how else are you supposed to break up a pass? Now, he left his feet, but he led with his shoulder. He hit the shoulder, didn't lead with the crown, and did not make initial contact above the shoulder.
And so what they're now going to review is whether he made contact with the neck or head area, and whether he did that with the crown of the helmet. And obviously that didn't happen. So I would be floored if they don't allow Bryson Williams to come back into this football game. But you're right. That's the problem with this penalty as it's being officiated now, is the intent is being officiated on the field. And what we do now is use replay to just confirm whether he should be ejected or not. Maybe we should start thinking about having instant replay just for this penalty in particular, the entire thing.
Right. If
to make sure we get it right.
Yeah. If you can review whether the player should be ejected, basically what you're saying is if it's overturned, you're saying that wasn't targeting. So why not just pick up the flag? Maybe that's something the committee will talk about in the offseason. But Bryson Williams is gone for the rest of the game, unless it's overturned. But again, it still would be a penalty flag and a 1st down inside the 30-yard line of the 28. Here's the rule. The ejection portion, as we've been talking about, reviewable, and it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the ruling in the field. Again, it wasn't initiated with the crown of the helmet, and the initial contact was not above the shoulders.
And in fairness to what's trying to be accomplished here, this player safety, I think you err on the side of safety to begin with. And now that we've had a number of these incidents happen, I think as a sport, we're going to come back and have a reevaluation of how to officiate this rule.
It's a hard call to make live. It's a judgment call. It's subjective.
After further review, the player disqualification is reversed. Number 12 remains in the game. Ball will be placed at the 23-yard line. Be 2nd and 10 for UCF.
So again, that's only the 7th time through a month now that it's been overturned and a player has been allowed to stay in the game, but the penalty flag stands.
You hope that this hit will be used in those training tapes in the offseason with the officials to say, look, in this instance, this is not a flag. It's not targeting, and there's not the crown of the helmet.
And if you're a coach, how else are you supposed to teach a defensive back to break up a pass like that when a guy's wide open?
You're asking the wrong guy. You can't coach somebody. You got to dislodge the ball. You got to get the guy on the ground. So it's hopefully we learn from the first half of this season where we've had some of these instances, and you get some things on tape for these officials and for coaches and for everybody, players, to look at and say, this is good, this is not. And I think what we've seen now is people aren't using the crown of their helmet. We just need to start officiating it correctly.
The official's announcement was an error there. It's first down because of the penalty at the 28-yard line of South Carolina. Bortles on the rollout. His pass is caught inside the 20 by Hall. Pinballs forward to the 15. Another first down and a 13-yard gain. Boy, UCF sharp on offense.
Boy, all that conversation. And if you're South Carolina, you got to get out of that funk, right? I mean, you've been in a funk this first half. No points on the board offensively. Gave up their first drive, touchdown to UCF, and now they're knocking on the door again to go up potentially 2 touchdowns.
And then we saw the one play where Clowney was lined up on the left side of the defensive line. He's back at right end. First down. Bortles with a quick throw to Godfrey, and Hampton is there. Good play by Hampton again. And that's a loss of about 3 on the play. 2 tackles behind the line of scrimmage for junior Victor Hampton.
When UCF gets down here inside the 20 in the red zone, they've got to be able to get Storm Johnson the football. George O'Leary knows that once you get down, it's very difficult to throw the ball because the windows are tight. You've got to have a running game, and Storm Johnson's been solid so far. Give him the ball.
Lined up behind the right tackle here, Chris Martin. And Bortles to Hall along the sideline, and it's ruled a catch right at the 8-yard line. A gain of 11. It'll be 3rd down and short.
He wanted to throw that ball to Storm Johnson, but he found Hall on the outside in the hole against the cover 2 defense. The corner was rolled up and the safety was deep. That's a great adjustment. Not an easy throw or read to make, and a big reason why Blake Bortles has played so well this season to begin.
14 of 18 for Bortles for 129 yards. Now they got a 3rd and short. We'll see if they got a power football here. And Bortles trips on the ball on the ground, recovered though by Johnson. Bortles had trouble getting the exchange from the center, Joey Grant.
Well, Joey Grant stepped on him. He got the exchange fine. Just look at the feet there. Sometimes when you got a zero nose right over you, you'll step back, and that's exactly what happened. He stepped on Bortles' left foot, and he was falling down. Lucky to get that ball back.
And so they'll have a chance at a field. Sean Moffitt, 4-4 on the season. A 27-yard attempt. And the kick is good. So it's 10-0 UCF. Our Aflac trivia question. Arizona State has the largest undergraduate enrollment. Which school has the second?
Before halftime. This crowd now is in this game. Our stadium is shaking.
Got the backup Dylan Thompson with Connor Shaw out for the rest of the game with a right shoulder injury. Ellington takes a knee, and so South Carolina will start in the 25. All right, let's answer this very difficult Aflac trivia question, Brian.
I like these odds, 50-50 chance. I'll take UCF.
All right. UCF has almost 60,000 students. Does that surprise you?
That's impressive for such a young university. I grew up down here, so I know. So it doesn't surprise me, but I know that this is quite a large population of students here at Central Florida, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
Meanwhile, can South Carolina get Mike Davis involved? Only 4 touches in the 20 plays. 3 carries, 1 reception. He's lined up in the backfield and gets it here. And can't find running room. He'll lose yardage on the play. Terrence Plummer there for UCF.
I think Steve Spurrier, guys, has been very frustrated with his inability to come up with adjustments when it comes to the secondary. They've managed the offensive front and the defensive front 7 for Central Florida most of the afternoon, but they haven't been able to make adjustments throughout the game in the air in the secondary. That's surprising. That's one of his strengths usually.
And you were commenting during the break, you've noticed the body language of Spurrier as well, kind of representing that frustration. As Thompson throws, and it's incomplete through the hands of Rory Anderson, so now it's 3rd down and long.
You know what? His body language is always something he's never been shy about. You can tell he wears his emotions on his sleeve. I think he's more frustrated right now with his inability to find an answer than he is with the fact that Central Florida is up 10-0.
Thompson just 4 of 10 passing. We'll see if UCF brings pressure here. They rush 5. And Ellington is open in the middle of the field. The defender, DJ Killings, apparently slipped, and it's a 20-yard gain.
Ellington is their big play wide receiver. He works almost exclusively in the slot, and Killings, a true freshman. That's a matchup that South Carolina's got to win, and Ellington, you're going to go back to that well a number of times if I were Steve Spurrier.
So 1st down at the 45-yard line of South Carolina. Here's Davis on the cutback. Crosses midfield, a gain of 5 on the play. A smart run there after contact. Able to turn his body and get north.
Just to finish on what Tom was saying, I think the South Carolina team they're still playing a little bit tight. Everybody expected them to come in here and roll over UCF. They lose their starting quarterback in the first drive. Now they got to make that adjustment, and UCF has come out and played energetic, and they are taking it to this offense for South Carolina.
Here comes pressure off the edge. Thompson gets away from the defender and throws it away. He was outside of the tackle box. It was corner Jordan Ozerites, a first-year starter, that put pressure on Thompson.
Yeah, and UCF is not afraid to bring pressure. Here he is. He's going to come off the edge, and nobody picks him up. And if you're Dylan Thompson, you've got to know that. You've got to have the awareness of protection, how you're protected. And if I'm the defense for UCF, I'm going to continue Jim Fleming, the defensive coordinator, to bring pressures because Dylan Thompson is not seeing the field as well as Connor Shaw right now.
Ozerites showed it and then backed off and went on to the wide receiver, Demir Bird. Thompson changing things up here. Play clock at 2. Thompson didn't even look at it. He never saw it. He had no idea. That's a dead ball, no fumble. No fumble. It's going to be a 5-yard flag, but Dylan Thompson was totally unaware of the play clock.
And now,
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
and those are the kinds of things that drive Steve Spurrier crazy, and it sends a message to Steve Spurrier that his quarterback right now, the stage is getting to him a little bit. I mean, he's played on some big stages, right? He played against Michigan and came in and won the game. He played against Clemson, threw for 300 yards. But right now, you're facing a little bit of adversity, and the game's on your shoulders, and you've got to be able to respond. And sometimes you get tunnel vision, and that's where Dylan Thompson is right now.
You saw Spurrier there motion, looking like he was telling Thompson, look at the play clock. Sometimes on the road, it's harder to find.
Well, 3rd and 10 here. Come after him if you're Central Florida, because you sense that they're on their heels, but you got to have an answer for number 23, Ellington.
4 of 6 on third down.
There's Ellington right there in the slot.
Four-man rush. Thompson going deep. Got a man. Incomplete. Dropped by Nick Jones inside the 10.
Perfect play call. The ball's thrown a little bit short, but still that ball should be caught by Jones. And when you face adversity on the road, you've got to have somebody step up and make a play. Dylan Thompson did it right there. Stood in the pocket and delivered, and Jones let him down.
In South Carolina without Shaq Rowland. Very good receiver, maybe their best. Suspended for at least this one game. As the snap is high, and it gets away from Tyler Hall. He gets the punt off, and it's UCF on the run. One of the defensive linemen recovers it, takes off, and gets it to 35. It's E.J. Dunston. What a heads-up play by Dunston there on the punt return. And they'll have the ball at the 35 of South Carolina.
E.J. Dunston didn't think he'd have a punt return on the stat sheet coming into the game, but take a look. The snap is high. I don't know how that ball got out of there, but Dunston is there, catches it, says thank you very much. Go give me some punt return yak.
A negative 9-yard net on that punt by Tyler Hall. Bad snap by Drew Williams.
And another opportunity for UCF.
With 2:31 on the clock and 2 timeouts. They'll pound it with Johnson. He lost the ball at the 32-yard line. Got it back, though. He was hit by Marquise Roberts. A gain of 4 on the play.
Well, special teams for South Carolina. Again, Coach Spurrier mentioned to us in the break, in their bye week, was their biggest point of emphasis, was making plays and eliminating mistakes in the kicking game. They've had Victor Hampton field the ball inside the 5, and now a high snap, which leads to basically a turnover for UCF.
Had a fumble kickoff and a muff punt versus Vandy. Bortles setting up the screen to Stanback. And Stanback down the sideline. Stepped out at the 25-yard line. Got the first down. Pickup of 7 on the play. True freshman William Stanback from here in Florida, or here in Orlando, I should say. UCF taking its time, 1:47 on the clock. 2 timeouts remaining, trying to tack on more points going into the locker room. Only 4 incompletions and 19 attempts for Bortles, and 138 yards through the air. Here's Stanback, and a flag comes in. Stanback brought down after a pickup of about 3 by Clowney. Second tackle for Jadeveon Clowney. We'll see what the penalty marker is.
Holding, 64 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
It's on Justin McCray. Right guard.
This UCF offensive line is a veteran offensive line. They've got plenty of experience up front. McCray's the right guard, 64. He's coming around to block the linebacker. Just got his arm around the linebacker. That's K'Wan Lewis, and he goes down, and that's kind of an unfortunate call on McCray.
Well, first down and 20. And Bortles throws an interception. Victor Hampton steps in front. Oh, a huge play for South Carolina. Just the 2nd interception this season for the Gamecocks.
Victor Hampton baited Blake Bortles. Here he is right here. It's going to be a skinny post that's thrown on rhythm, and Hampton does a great job of reading the route and the quarterback to break and put himself in position to get a big turnover for South Carolina. That's a big-time play. And that goes back to study during the week as well, watching the game film, knowing that in a 3-by-1 formation, when they leave Rashad Perriman by himself on the weak side, they love to throw that route in the red zone, and a great job by Victor Hampton to read it.
Now you leave a minute 17 and 3 timeouts for a South Carolina team normally explosive, but nothing so far. Screen pass to Davis, and that was dangerous. There's a penalty flag down on the near sideline. It was caught by Davis. Would have been better if it wasn't. It was a 2-yard loss on the play. See what the penalty flag is for. Thrown right at the sideline, the 30-yard line. UCF gets a big play after the bad punt.
Offside defense, number 47. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Then they get a holding call, then an interception. Now offside on Dion Green. That'll move the ball out to the 33. Dylan Thompson replacing the injured Connor Shaw. Hurt his shoulder on the first drive. And Thompson's pass pulled in by Demir Bird at the 41-yard line. An 8-yard gain and a first down. 1 minute exactly on the clock here in the half.
Might be the most important drive so far in this game for Dylan Thompson to get something positive. They get a turnover, big turnover, and avoid potentially a 17-0 deficit. If they can go down and get any kind of points here, it'll help the confidence of Dylan Thompson in this offense, but also keep him in this game.
South Carolina.
Rolling on the field was a completed pass.
All right, so they're going to review the last play. Back in a moment. Well, they get bailed out here as they're reviewing the catch by Bird. It appeared he had the foot in bounds on the catch.
That's a great catch. Great job with footwork on the sideline.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Completed pass.
So it'll be South Carolina ball first down on its 41-yard line. 1 minute to go. All 3 timeouts remaining. And Connor Shaw done for the day. Fumbled on the first drive and got hurt in the process. Dylan Thompson, his replacement. 8 of 14 passing, 84 yards. Here comes pressure, and Thompson gets the pass away, and Davis brought down at the 45-yard line. Inbounds. Terrence Plummer playing a whale of the first half. I'm surprised the Gamecocks aren't using a timeout here. They just let 20 seconds go off the clock. They got 3.
Yeah, can't go in the locker room with them.
Thompson toward the sideline. And a catch made by Jones. He paid for it. Took a shot from Ozerites. Now the clock stops, but you wasted 30 seconds to get like 8 yards.
Good catch there. And the rain now is starting to come down a little bit. So there's a little mist on it. So as a quarterback, you got to make sure you're getting that snap. And we'll keep an eye on how that ball is coming out of Dylan Thompson's hand.
Third down at a yard. Again, they have their timeouts. They can run the ball if they choose just to get the first down here.
This is where Steve Spurrier crossed the 50-yard line towards the end of the half. He's got plenty of timeouts. He may want to take a shot, much like he did with Jones on the last drive, and Jones dropped it. Thompson, wide open at the 30-yard line is Ellington. They lost him, and Ellington finds his way to the 29-yard line, a 21-yard gain. Clayton Gathers, the 3-year starter at safety for UCF, blew it. He's in the middle of the field. Here he is, and he's just going to go up the field. And the response from Gathers is going to the middle of the field. Didn't read that defense, and wide open, easy play to Ellington. That'll put the ball inside the 30. They have a true freshman kicker who's a walk-on who's long as 39 yards. You know Steve Spurrier at halftime is going to make some adjustments. What's the number one thing, Brian, do you think he has to look at? Well, I think they need to start taking some shots, just like they did with Jones when he dropped it. They take another shot with Ellington. But Dylan Thompson throws the ball really well, and he throws the ball vertically really well. And they've got players that can go get the ball, and they've got the better athletes to go get the ball. So to me, they've got to be more aggressive on offense and make some big plays, and that'll start to open it up for Mike Davis underneath. Are you surprised we haven't called Jadeveon Clowney's name more, or is this kind of what we've seen throughout the year where he just didn't have a chance? It's coming down to the other guys having to make plays. No. I mean, Clowney's going to be, they're going to have a Clowney plan, and they're going to try to take him away. Every team's going to do that, and I think UCF has done it well so far. Thompson lost the ball and then throws it away, and boy, he had Demir Bird wide open down the sideline.
I know that was frenetic after the fumble, but Bird was wide open.
Well, we made the point. It's starting to get wet, starting to rain a little bit. You got to concentrate on the ball, and it gets a little bit slippery. You can't take your eyes off of it, and you're right. Bird was wide open for a touchdown downfield.
21 seconds left, 2 timeouts remaining. And with that miss, that'll affect the kicking game, which has been problematic throughout the season, including today for South Carolina. Had a high snap earlier. Thompson over the middle, and the pass off target intended for Anderson. 17 seconds left. 3rd down and 10.
Well, UCF has not been afraid to bring pressure and play man-to-man on the back end. They've given up some plays, but still a goose egg on the scoreboard. It's been working. 3rd and 10 now. Fully expect them to do the same. Bring some pressure, maybe play man-to-man, and get to Dylan Thompson.
Thompson with time. Now the pocket breaks down. And Thompson's pass high and incomplete. Intended for Demir Bird, who's shaken up on the play. Jacoby Glenn on the coverage. There is a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. That was a hard hit by Glenn as Bird was extended and off the ground, but a legal hit. There's 10 seconds on the clock. If this is a penalty on the offense, they could run the clock here and end the half. That could be a 10-second runoff.
They still have a timeout, though, so they could use it.
True. You can use a timeout to keep them from running that clock.
Biggest thing is it might take them out of field goal range here.
Well, their field goal kickers, we mentioned a true freshman walk-on as long as 39.
Personal foul, number 53, offense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
And they're out of field goal range. If it were holding, really out of field goal range.
Absolutely.
With a 15-yard penalty.
And because it was a dead ball, it's going to be 4th down. There he is right here, Corey Robinson. Something had to have right. That last hit there. That last hit there, which, boy, that's hard to throw a personal foul 15 yards on that. Just pushing a guy in the back.
3rd down and 27. Although, didn't look like that was after the play, but it is 3rd down and 27.
They must have deemed that was during the course of the play, the personal foul, so they get to retry 3rd down.
They have 2 timeouts remaining. Now we got a stoppage of play, a flag.
No play.
Again, if this is a false start, there'll be a 10-second runoff, but South Carolina has a timeout and can keep that from happening.
A lot of conferences in this first half. What South Carolina is trying to do here is just get the ball maybe 10, 15 yards downfield and then call a timeout and attempt a field goal on 4th down. But if they keep going in the wrong direction, they may not even be able to do that.
There's no foul on the play for snapping the ball before they're ready to play. The play was being stopped by the officials.
Clock, so 10 seconds. Back to 3rd down and 27.
So again, if they can get the ball 15 yards downfield around the 28, 27-yard line, they might be able to attempt a field goal. They got plenty of time to do that with 10 seconds and a timeout.
Here comes pressure. Thompson gets away, airing it out into traffic, and incomplete with 3 seconds remaining. Pressure from true freshman Blake Keller. We thought we'd see Keller and Savon Lowry, two true freshmen who were young speedsters off the edge.
So I don't agree with that. Throwing the ball in desperation downfield when you just need to try to get in position to get a field. And I think that's what Coach Spurrier really wants Dylan Thompson to do. And I haven't seen Coach Spurrier as disgusted like this in quite some time. You come on the road to play UCF. This isn't Georgia, this is UCF, and you're down 10-0. Your offense has done nothing, and now you're not executing in a simple 2-minute drill. I think halftime will be definitely spirited in the South Carolina locker room.
Now we got a timeout called by South Carolina. Got to set up this last play. Check out the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Dover. ESPN Sunday at 1. At Kenseth has won the first 2 races in a chase for the Cup. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the pole.
And I think if you're Steve Spurrier, you need to be a little bit careful. Okay, you don't have another quarterback to go to after the half, right? You got to be careful with the way that you handle Dylan Thompson. I know his style is not to be that way, is to really be in their face, but he needs to build up Dylan Thompson's confidence a little bit to come out in the second half and start to execute and perform. Everybody on offense. It's not just all Dylan Thompson, but might be a little bit of a different approach from Steve Spurrier in this locker room than he would typically have.
Now the other quarterback is redshirt freshman Brendan Nosovich from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Cooper Tires coming up at the half. John Saunders, Jesse Palmer will break down the first half here. Look ahead to some of the premier games in college football today, including Wisconsin, Ohio State, ABC tonight. Thompson got hit. Ball flutters, and this is returnable. It's picked off by Mag, and down he goes in the half ends. South Carolina shut out in the first half by UCF. A team averaging almost 500 yards per game, their best through 3 games in school history.
Cal, he's their horse. They've got to establish a running game.
Connor Shaw was their leading rusher in the first half. He played 10 plays.
1 series.
Right shoulder injury. South Carolina will start the second half with the football. Bruce Ellington, the deep man. And this will go through the end zone, so it will come out to the 25. Taking a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Jadeveon Clowney, other than 1 play, has been lined up at right defensive end. 2 tackles, no sacks. He did have a hurry in 32 snaps. They've been double and triple teaming him. Storm Johnson, 45 rushing yards. And also 18 through the air and a rushing touchdown, the lone TD in the ball game. And a missed opportunity for UCF at the end of the half. A bad punt. They had the ball at the 30-yard line of South Carolina. And Blake Bortles, who played well for most of the half, threw an interception. And line up in 2 back and pound it with Davis. And he breaks a tackle. And then finally driven to the ground after a 5-yard gain by E.J. Dunston.
If I'm George O'Leary, there's no question that I'm going to make sure that I keep the speed guys in on defense. In fact, he said, we're going to leave the skinny kids in and rush the passer. He also said to us yesterday that if those skinny kids stay in and South Carolina runs the football, those skinny kids will be skid marks.
They just ran it there, and then Davis lost his helmet, so he has to sit for 1 play. Here's Wilds, the number 2 tailback, and he's to the second level and has a first down across the 35. Michael Easton brings him down.
Well, he better get the skinny kids out officially because first 2 plays, 2 backs, power run. They're going up-tempo on offense. There's no question the adjustment that Steve Spurrier has made, and that is to come out and play power football.
With Davis back out there, they go out of the eye, and Davis runs through a linebacker and a safety. Splatters the pile and gets about 12 yards. Finally brought down by Brandon Alexander.
Just mashing in the pit, going up-tempo. Same play 3 times in a row. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Power football. And we've got an injured night on the field.
It's Clayton Geathers who was involved in that play there. Might have been the player that Mike Davis ran through. Davis 5'9", 215, but he's pretty powerful, as Geathers found out there.
And he's low to the ground, just keeps driving his legs, and yeah, he's not going to just accept blows. He's going to deliver them.
So after really not doing a whole lot in terms of yards after contact in the first half, Mike Davis getting it done here in the second half, bouncing off defenders and running through them as well.
Well, he only had 17 yards carry off 5 carries in the first half. That is way too low for a back the skill set of Mike Davis.
By the way, in that first half, Dylan Thompson 9 of 22, 115 yards and a pick. Here's Davis. He's loose. He can outrun everybody. Inside the 10. Touchdown, South Carolina.
Touchdown, Carolina. Number 28, Mike Davis.
53-yard rushing score for a guy that has 2 75-yard runs this season. He can fly.
What a mix of power and speed. The play before, he runs over the safety, puts him on the bench, hurt. Then he comes back and outruns the rest of the defense. Just a special back that Steve Spurrier's found for his Gamecocks.
4 plays, all rushes. And finally, South Carolina on the board. You heard Steve Spurrier tell Tom Luganville at the end of the half. And the 2 questions that Spurrier was asked, he mentioned running the ball. And both answers, as the extra point is good. And they got Mike Davis involved big time on that drive, running through defenders, around him, and past them. 53-yard rushing touchdown. And the Gamecocks are on the board in Orlando. Let's see how Central Florida responds to its first adversity here today.
Absolutely. They went in feeling pretty good about themselves, up 10, and all of a sudden it's a 3-point game, and still a lot of football left to play, but their best unit, their offense, will have their first crack in the second half now.
Landon Ard kicking off. Again, they've had trouble with kickoffs this year, and UCF going to have starting field position at the 35-yard line. One of the up men, Micah Reed, getting it there.
Let's look at that touchdown. Power football. Take a look at these 2 guys, right guard and fullback. It's just going to come out and get their blocks. That's McLaurin, the fullback, and Patrick wraps around. Great position there on both of their blocks. And then in the secondary, Sean Magg takes a bad angle and allows Mike Davis to get to the outside. You take a bad angle on Mike Davis, and it's a house call. Was there a tug by Rory Anderson on the edge? It looks like it. Got away with it, though.
But UCF with good field position on its 36-yard line, first down. They're going to pound it here with Johnson. Not a lot of running room on the cutback. Victor Hampton, who's played so well today, forced him back inside. And the linebacker, Sherrod Golightly, was waiting. Gain of only a yard on the play. Hampton has an interception, a couple tackles for a loss. DJ Swearinger was their leader in the secondary last year. He's now in the NFL, and Victor Hampton is a guy that's really stepped up here today.
He's going to get some more opportunities because UCF is going to throw the football. Blake Bortles, they've got to throw the football to score in this game.
Clowney lined up at left defensive end. And a nice catch made at the 40-yard line, but only a 3-yard pickup. It was pulled in by Rennell Hall.
And we haven't seen a whole lot of vertical passes down the field. We've seen a lot of hitches. We've seen under routes. And you're getting set up now for Blake Bortles to maybe throw one down the field on a double move on Victor Hampton. He's got nosy. He got 1 interception because he read a route. If I were UCF, I would take a chance now on Victor Hampton, maybe with a double move.
And they got Clowney at left end again. 3rd down. Looking for his 3rd sack of the year. One-on-one, here he comes. And Bortles got out of there. And Bortles brought down at the 37-yard line. Chaz Sutton will get credited with the sack, but that was all Clowney.
Well, this is a mistake for UCF. There's no way you can allow a tight end, of all people, a tight end to try to block Jadeveon Clowney one-on-one. there's no way you're going to win this matchup. Maybe it was supposed to be some help, but that's Justin Tukes. And that's just a tough assignment there. There's no way he can block him one-on-one. Lucky he didn't get a fumble on the play.
So 3 and out. UCF after getting good field position to start that drive. Hampton, the deep man. And he's got the fair catch at the 21-yard line. ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Hampton Hotels features the top-ranked team in the land, Alabama and Ole Miss, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN.
What do you think there, man? Ole Miss got a chance?
With Kindici, when we talk about Jadeveon Clowney, Kindici for Ole Miss, true freshman, he's as much.
And they're going to get his brother back, Denzel Kindici, the linebacker, too. I know this.
Alabama's been inconsistent offensively.
All the pressure is on Alabama, right? There's no pressure on Ole Miss. They go in there and take their best shot with Bo Wallace and Moncrief. I don't know, it might be closer than people think.
Here's the second tailback, Brandon Wiles, to the 26 for 5 yards. Don't forget about Jeff Scott in that game, too, for Ole Miss.
Absolutely. I mean, he's done nothing but make big plays. The touchdown run to win the Vanderbilt game, the punt return against Texas. I mean, he's been a big play guy in that offense.
But you're still picking Alabama, right? After all that.
Yes.
Here's Wilds again. Penalty flag down. Wilds got the first down. I think we see the emphasis here for South Carolina for the second half. Just pounded between the tackles.
Offside, defense, number 69. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
It's on Thomas Niles, his second penalty. Dylan Thompson has not thrown it yet here in the third quarter. All run play.
I think Steve Spurrier said we were going to run the power run game and that play only until we scored 2 touchdowns. We're not going to throw the football.
Wilds, and he gets gobbled up at the 37-yard line, a 3-yard pickup. Their 6'2", 225-pound sophomore running back.
And that's it. They've run almost 10 plays in the second half, and it's only been 1 play. That one power play.
Connor Lawrence loving this. He's getting a ton of playing time at fullback. Didn't even see the field really in the first half. Here's play action, and Dylan Thompson going downfield. And the pass off the mark. Ellington, the intended receiver. Well, it looked like there was going to be pressure in the face of Thompson by Terrence Plummer, but he was picked up at the last second.
Well, they brought Plummer right up the A-gap, and they were doing that to stop the power run game, and just so happened to be play pass, and he was in position. He's going to come right through the gut and got blocked by Wilds, but still got Dylan Thompson off of his launching spot, made him a little uncomfortable.
So that was the first pass play of the half. Now you would imagine another one here. 3rd down and 7. They're going to run the ball. And the ball comes out at the 40-yard line, recovered by Central Florida. Gathers with the fumble recovery. And there's an injured Gamecock. It's Wilds who fumbled the ball. Who was shaken up on the play. That's twice now South Carolina's fumbled, and both times the player who coughed it up is injured. It was Connor Shaw on the first drive, and here it's Brandon Wilds.
I don't even think he got hit here. That ball just comes out, and he goes down awkward. He hits it right off his right knee. That's what happened. Then he gets hit. Ooh, right on the side of the head. Dangerous.
Inadvertent hit by Brandon Alexander there. In the head. Hopefully he's all right. They got trainers surrounding 47-yard line of South Carolina. They got Clowney lined up at left end again. And they'll pitch to Johnson running away from Clowney. And he does well to get back to the line of scrimmage.
No, it's a pretty good wave of emotions, fellas, down here on the UCF sideline. Central Florida, when they started seeing that ball get run down their throat, you could see the air slowly coming out of this team on the sideline. And then the ball came loose. In the stadium, the sideline erupted. Jim Fleming, the defensive coordinator for Central Florida, he doesn't have any skinny guys in the game anymore, fellas.
Well, they did throw it there on that 2nd down and long, and some might at home be wondering why they were just having so much success in that. That would have been a first down by Wilds, but he turned it over instead. Here's Johnson running left again, through a crease and down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 7, so third down and about 3. Victor Hampton tripped him up.
Well, but Tom's right. When you're getting the ball run down and just getting out physical on defense, that can take the will out of you quickly. And I think that's exactly what Steve Spurrier was trying to do. But lack of ball security from Wilds. He had the ball out away from his body and hit it with his knee. And now Central Florida's in great position here if they can convert on a 3rd and 3 to go to get more points.
Again, Clowney on the left side here. He contributed on the last third down, led to a sack by a teammate. Bortles with a quick throw, and wide receiver wasn't even ready. J.J. Wharton. Then it redirected, and Clowney almost picked it off. Wharton not prepared that time for the pass.
There was a blitz. There's no safety in the middle of the field, and Bortles reads it, and Wharton's not looking for the football. I have yet to see a pass route in football where the ball could not come to you. Right? Why don't you look for the ball and you run the route, especially when you're running a quick slant against an all-out blitz? That's where the football needs to go, and Wharton just wasn't ready.
So a really good field position because of the turnover wasted. Now let's see if they can flip the field here and pin South Carolina deep. Hampton is under it. He'll let it go, and there's a Knight down there at the 3-yard line. It's Rennell Hall who is there for Central Florida. Saturday Night Football presented by Windows features Wisconsin and Ohio State in a Big Ten clash at 8 Eastern. If you haven't watched Melvin Gordon, you won't see him start. He's essentially the number 2 running back, but he's one of the best in the country.
And we're going to find something out about Ohio State's defense, right? The big question coming in, they lost guys up front. Noah Spence, Adolphus Washington. Can they stop that running attack? They haven't played a team yet that can rush the football. We're going to see one of the best tonight.
Braxton Miller is back. Looked good in practice. He'll start. We'll see if Kenny Guyton gets a little time as well. First down for South Carolina on its 3-yard line. And here's Davis. Stiff arming at the 5. And out near the 12, a 9-yard pickup. Let's go to the studio. Here's Robert.
All right, guys, Dr. Pepper 10 conference update from the Big 12. Oklahoma State down 10, but mounting a comeback. J.W. Walsh to the fullback, Jeremy Seaton. Get on in there, Slim. Right now on ESPN, Oklahoma State down 3 in Morgantown, 24-21, 9:30 plus in the third quarter.
All right, row flow. Davis was a little slow getting up. Wilds being taken to the locker room with his arm in a stretcher. Davis, after first contact, gets the first down. Troy Gray on the tackle, but a fresh set of downs for South Carolina, trailing midway through the third by 3.
Well, we thought coming into this game, 2 really high-powered offenses. South Carolina's been scoring a lot of points, and Central Florida scored 34 against Penn State, and so far they've been slowed. And now Mike Davis a little shaken up. He went down to the ground hard and got a bunch of turf in his helmet. Looks like he just wants to get it cleaned up.
So Sean Carson is in the game. Just 2 attempts on the season for him. First and 10. And hard to tell that's a broken play or just a bad read.
No, that's game 1. Absolutely miscommunication between the young back coming in and Dylan Thompson. And it looked like Sean Carson didn't know whether he was supposed to be in the fake or not.
So Thompson did well there to at least get 1 yard. Davis remains on the sideline for second down and long. After this game, South Carolina plays Kentucky at home, then 3 straight road games. They don't play LSU, they don't play Alabama, and they don't play Texas A&M. Even though they lost to Georgia, they still have a chance to win the East. As Thompson, a long throw to the sideline, and it's incomplete, trying to hit Ellington. We saw a completion on a long throw out of the end zone in the first half, but that one off the mark. So it's third down and long. And Central Florida just brought Lowry and Keller back onto the field, the 2 true freshman edge rushers, 49 and 48 if you can actually see the numbers.
Yeah, there they are, right?
Here comes pressure, and Thompson stepping up. Finds Anderson, who's across the 40-yard line. steps out at the 43. Gain of close to 30 yards.
That breakdown in the coverage on the weak side. They had 3 guys out to the strong side, and they just bring Rory Anderson alone by himself on the weak side, and the linebacker Plummer didn't go with him. Big conversion for South Carolina.
28 yards, and they keep Carson on the field, so Davis unable to return yet. They already lost Wilds, taken to the locker room with his arm in a sling, and they've lost their quarterback, who's a very good runner. Carson nowhere to go. UCF plugs the hole there, no gain. Be second down and long. Terrence Plummer has played terrific today, made the hit, and back on the field is Mike Davis.
Well, UCF has got to get 7, 8 guys in the box now. When Davis comes back on the field, you got to expect they're going to give it to him, and they can't stop that running attack consistently with only 6 or 7 guys in the box. Got to get those guys up there.
Thompson to the air. And it's caught, and a big hit right at the first down marker. Bird made the catch, and Alexander put a lick on him. We'll see where they spot it in UCF territory.
Well, they brought the corner again. They picked it up. Good recognition, and Dylan Thompson knows right where he wants to go with that football. The corner comes, that leaves the wide receiver one-on-one with the safety, and Demir Bird's got too much speed and talent not to get open.
He's short, though. 3rd down and a yard. We'll see if they try to hammer it here. Between the tackles, UCF crowding the line. And it's a quarterback sneak for Thompson. There's a penalty marker down on the far side. We've seen UCF offside several times. We'll see if that's the call here again. Thomas Niles has been offside twice for the Knights.
Offside, defense, 69. 5-yard penalty. Result of the play, first down.
Niles again. 4th offside penalty on Central Florida, and that'll put the ball inside the 43-yard line of the Knights. South Carolina looking to take the lead on this drive.
And George O'Leary is telling him right now, it's 2 times. We were talking to him about Niles yesterday. He says he's one of the most talented guys in that front 7, but he just hasn't been able to keep the discipline.
Thompson with time, but everybody covered. And now Thompson lobs it downfield. It's caught inside the 10 by Bird. 1st and goal, South Carolina.
It's one thing to cover a wide receiver for 4 or 5 seconds. It's another thing when the quarterback extends the play like Dylan Thompson does here, and Bird just makes a move up the sideline. That's a scramble drill, and it's almost impossible for Ozerites to cover that for 8 seconds.
38-yard pass play, 1st and goal inside the 5. Here's Davis. Spun down at the 2-yard line. Geathers made the stop. It's 2nd and goal as we approach 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
I don't know if UCF has enough beef on their sideline to keep Mike Davis out of the end zone here. He's going to get it at least 2 more times if they don't get in on this play.
Davis again, hit in the backfield by E.J. Dunston and dropped. Loss on the play, it's 3rd and goal.
I don't think E.J. liked what I said right there. He's got enough beef. He came right through the backside A-gap and used his quickness to get by the center and nowhere to go. Good stop.
This drive started at the South Carolina 3. Now the Gamecocks are at the Knights 3-yard line. 11th play of the drive coming off 3rd and goal.
This is where they're going to miss Connor Shaw, because in this situation, they love to get him on the edge with Mike Davis and an option look, but I think they've got to throw the football here with Dylan Thompson.
Thompson out of shotgun, rolling out. He can take it himself. He will. Touchdown. Smart play by Dylan Thompson, and South Carolina leads for the first time.
He doesn't quite have the speed that Connor Shaw does, but he is definitely serviceable. And when you fake that ball to Mike Davis after the way he started running the second half, defense has to respect that. And then Andre Ellington took coverage, and a good decision by Dylan Thompson to get to the pylon.
His second rushing touchdown of the season. And now Elliott Fry for the point after. 11-play, 97-yard drive by South Carolina. And the Gamecocks had only 10 guys on the field there. They had to bring a player in late. Point after good, and it's 14-10.
These are the kinds of drives in the second half of games that are just backbreakers. Start to establish the power run game.
In 11 minutes, South Carolina doubling its rushing total from the first half. They've had the ball for almost the entire third quarter. 2 3-and-outs by Central Florida. Connor Shaw injured his shoulder on the opening drive. Dylan Thompson has not thrown the ball particularly well, but had a couple of nice plays on that drive, including the big play to Demir Bird down the sideline, which then set up the Thompson rushing score.
Yeah, and I think two things have happened now. One is Central Florida's offense has not been able to sustain any drives, and so they have lost that time of possession battle. In the first half, they had drives of 13, 10, and 9 plays and kept it away from this rushing attack for South Carolina. But in the second half, Mike Davis and this offensive line, who I know Steve Spurrier challenged probably at halftime to say, look, we're going to come out and run the football, and this game is going to be on your shoulder.
Bernard will boot it away. Hall and Standback are deep for UCF. It'll be Standback who runs it out. And he won't even make it to the 20. Here's Tom.
Standback with a return close to the 20-yard line. First down to UCF.
Guys, Brendan Wilds at South Carolina will be out indefinitely for the rest of this game. The tailback has suffered a left elbow strain. Now, from a coaching perspective, what that means is the younger and more inexperienced you go behind Mike Davis, the more in jeopardy you put your pass protection and your ball security. So Mike Davis, that thoroughbred's going to get an extra few laps this second half.
Yeah, we saw Carson in one play, and he went the wrong way, and that cost South Carolina a negative play. First down of the 19 for Central Florida. And they're going to run it here. Big hole. Johnson ankle tackled at the 31-yard line by
Bryson Williams came up from the secondary, and what a great tackle in the open field. Storm Johnson, look at Williams. If he doesn't make that tackle, there's nobody left, and nobody's going to catch Storm Johnson. Just enough. And Johnson gets up. He knows he had a chance to take it to the house.
So first down on the 31-yard line. Bortles thrown for 139 yards and an interception, 16 of 22. That's the first down of the second half. They'll give it to him again. He ran into a teammate but spun out of there and then brought down at the line of scrimmage. So no gain on the play.
Between these two backs, Storm Johnson and Mike Davis, you're going to see some of the most unbelievable 2- and 3-yard runs you've ever seen. As we see Wilds being taken off, he's not going to return, but he's coming back out on the field. But these two guys, for both of these teams, very talented, and both of them are going to have a chance to play at the next level, in my opinion.
Johnson, a transfer from Miami. He's a junior, 6 feet, 215 pounds. 2nd and 10. And Bortles throwing towards the sideline. It's on the money. Right at the first down marker is Hall. See where they spot it. And boy, Clowney was in the face of Bortles on that throw. He was lined up at right defensive end. He was lined up at left end on the first 5 plays of the third quarter.
Well, Central Florida's offense has stalled since the first quarter of this game. And if they're going to get back in now that they're down 4, they've got to establish their attitude. They've got to establish their passing game. And despite the fact that Clowney's going to be in your face because he knows that your best offense is throwing the football, you've got to be able to convert.
He did not get the first down. 3rd down and a yard. And Bortles on the quarterback sneak gets the first down. First downs on this drive for UCF.
and a big drive for UCF. I mean, they've come out second half, scored 14 unanswered, and you have not been able to adjust in the second half to this South Carolina defense. You've got to get some points on the board here.
Again, Clowney at left end. We've seen him line up as a stand-up rusher close to the football only one time. Otherwise, he's been at right or left end. No sacks on the day. Here comes a double pass thrown into the flat and then going back the other way, and it is intercepted by LeGree. And tackled at the 34-yard line. So UCF goes with trickery. Godfrey, the former quarterback, trying to throw it a long way to Storm Johnson, and it was intercepted.
And it's just great discipline by LeGree. You see him there. He's going to spin out. He's right here. He's spinning out. Look at that. Doesn't even look at the ball. He knows what the play is. Doesn't panic and just plays the football. And that play just takes too long. It's too long of a throw all the way back outside the numbers from the other sideline for Godfrey, and an easy play for LeGree. And pretty much this is starting to become the momentum 100% in South Carolina's favor.
You had it going. You had a consecutive first downs just running your offense. They try a little trickery, and it's a turnover.
And South Carolina, you got to give them credit too. They know that Godfrey was a former quarterback. They know that he can throw the football. They know when you throw the ball laterally behind the line of scrimmage that there's a chance that he's going to throw that ball on a trick play, and LeGree played it perfect.
And a timeout called by South Carolina. There is a penalty flag down. There may have been too many men in the huddle before the timeout for the Gamecocks.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So it's doubtful that Spurrier will take the timeout because of that penalty. The reason he was taking the timeout is because there are too many guys in the game. So first down and 15 at the 39-yard line of UCF. No timeout taken. A huge situation here for UCF's defense. Thompson hit, gets away from Niles. And then Ellington on the grab at the 25-yard line. Inside the 20. A 19-yard gain. They've been close to getting Dylan Thompson, but he's escaped several times.
Well, Thomas Niles, you get a free shot like that, you just cannot miss that. I mean, that's as easy as it's going to get. And Dylan Thompson just shrugs his shoulder, gives it to Ellington, and they're in business inside the 20.
14 straight points for South Carolina here in the third quarter after trailing 10-0. 211 yards of total offense here in the period. Mike Davis straight on. And they finally get him down. It took 3 guys and 3 hits, but Gathers gets him to the turf after a 1-yard pickup. Davis came in averaging 114 rushing yards per game. He's right at 100 today.
And he's got 100 yards. He only had 15 in the first half.
A 53-yard rushing touchdown. Taking a lot of time here. They do have to snap it.
Steve Spurrier wants to take another timeout.
That's their first official timeout. 1 second on the play clock.
Timeout by South Carolina. 9 seconds to play in this third quarter.
At the UCF 20. Final seconds of the third quarter. Out of an empty set, Thompson with time. And his throw to the end zone is caught, but out of bounds. Nick Jones could not get a foot down. Ruling in the field is incomplete.
Not by much. You run the post corner route. Jones loves this route. Yeah, he's got to control it out. He just missed it. That's a favorite route in the red zone. Has been for 20 years for Steve Spurrier. Nick Jones is the best at running it. Scored on it against Georgia. And Dylan Thompson throws it really well. That ball just a little bit outside for Jones to come down and bounce.
Huge play for UCF. Can't give up a third down and long here. Remember, South Carolina's field goal kicker, the true freshman, Thompson. Over the middle, it's caught. Close to the first down at the 10-yard line is Gerald Adams. I checked that. It was Drew Owens on the catch, a sophomore who getting a little time here today and played much this year, made the catch. It is 4th down. We'll see if South Carolina goes for it when we start the 4th quarter. This presentation of college football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings continues. Carolina leading by 4 as we start the 4th quarter. And Thompson on the keeper has the first down. Got 2 yards on the play. It'll be 1st and goal for the Gamecocks.
Nice job by Thompson. There was a little bubble in the left side of the line. Everybody was stacked up over the center, and he just kind of waited his time and shuffled out there and dove forward to get the first down.
South Carolina with 220 third-quarter yards, only 32 for Central Florida in that third. Out of 2 back, they'll hand it off to Davis. No running room. There is a penalty flag down. False start on the Gamecocks. An injured Knight at the 8-yard line.
False start. 83 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's on Mason Zandy as the guilty man for South Carolina. The injured UCF player is freshman Luke Adams, backup defensive end.
Well, this has turned into a very physical game in the second half for UCF on defense, and they're not the biggest guys in the world. George O'Leary gets them to play hard, but the intensity has been stepped up by the physical running game of South Carolina. There's been some injuries on both sides of the coin in this game with Connor Shaw, Brandon Wilds, and now some of the guys on the UCF sideline. Clayton Gathers, a safety, took a big hit from Mike Davis. So it's been a physical game.
They'll go with 2 backs again here. 2nd down and goal at the 14-yard line. We'll check that 1st down and goal at the 14-yard line after the 5-yard false start penalty. It's Davis off left tackle, breaking free at the 10. Inside the 5, touchdown. Second rushing touchdown today for Mike Davis. Ronald Patrick, the right guard, was out there blocking for him. It's a 10-point South Carolina lead.
Mike Davis flexes his muscles. He's got plenty of them. He has got the power to run inside the tackles and then the speed in the hole. When he makes that cut and gets north and south, there's not many backs in this country that can make that kind of cut as quick as he can.
And it's an 11-point South Carolina lead. In past games, Central Florida has had the firepower to come back, but they have not scored since midway through the second quarter. It's been all Gamecock since.
I think they came into this game with Connor Shaw when he was healthy and said, you know what, we're going to run our offense, which is that, read option, throw the football, pitch and catch. And I think once they got into halftime, they realized, they're in a dogfight, and they said, we're bigger than you. We're just going to come out and pound you.
UCF will have the ball in the 25 after the touchback. Let's look at our Pacific Life game summary. 21-10, South Carolina on top. And Blake Bortles played very well in the first half. I haven't talked a lot about him here in the second half. That's because South Carolina's defense has done a good job. Only 32 yards allowed by the Gamecocks, and Davis another 100-yard days, right at his season average of 114 yards.
And Bortles hadn't had a whole lot of opportunities in the second half because South Carolina's had the ball and kept it on the ground and chewed up some clock.
As you said at the open, Bortles, one of the more talented players at the quarterback position in college football, at least what you've seen through 3 games. Got an opportunity here to try to lead his team back down 2 scores. Play action for Bortles, being chased. And throws it away was Gerald Dixon. He's trying to chase down Bortles. A little slow to get up. Checking with Tom.
Fellas, on the previous series, sometimes when you're coaching a team and you're trying to, you see the momentum evaporating. You're trying to get a little edge. You try some razzle-dazzle. But if it backfires, that can really cause a loss of morale on the sideline. But the one thing I've been impressed with This Central Florida coaching staff, including George O'Leary, they've done a great job of forgetting about the last play and moving on to the next one. Very positive, upbeat sideline here for the Knights.
Well, let's see if they can take advantage here, Tom, with Clowney on the sideline. Although they got good pressure on Bortles on the last play. Now Bortles has time to throw. Everybody covered, though. And coming back to the ball is Perriman. He could not hang on. Juggled it incomplete. Let's go to the studio and check in with Robert.
All right, guys, AT&T All-America Player of the Week nominee. How about Illinois quarterback Nathan Shieldhouse? 5 touchdowns in the first half as they are having their way with Miami of Ohio. 5 touchdowns, 278 yards, 19 of 24. You can text VOTE to 34763. Dave, back to you.
All right, Robert, and now we've got a whistle here.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Perriman was juggling it along the sideline, but I'll take another look here.
Goes down on his leg there. And his knees on the ground out of bounds. Yeah, that's an incomplete pass.
You can't even see the ball anyway when he went down. From that angle. Yeah, it looked like it hit the ground. A good call on the field. So as we're looking at this, let me throw this at you. With Connor Shaw out and we don't know when his return will be, what are the prospects for South Carolina in the SEC if he is not available?
Well, first and foremost, I hope that it's not that similar injury that he had a year ago. They cracked that clavicle. You know, when you hear a strain, we don't know what the injury is, but you know, hopefully he can come back and play because he's such a good player and a big part of this offense. And it's good for college football for him to be out there playing.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
But I know this. Coming into this game, I wrote down in my notes watching film, if I were Steve Spurrier, I would not be playing Dylan Thompson. I would be playing Connor Shaw every snap of every game because he is a game changer, and he's playing at the top of his game right now, and I think he gives them the best chance to win. So if he's out for an extended period, I think it does affect South Carolina and their ability to execute on offense. What have we seen in the second half? It's just turned into a power run game like we see out of Wisconsin.
Third down and long. Here comes Clowney. Bortles gets out of there, dumps it off. 30-yard line is Justin Tukes, and close to the first down at the 35. Boy, they really need this one here. Go lightly on the tackle. And it is a first down for the Knights. That was big on third down and long to pick that up.
And a great job by Bortles understanding, even in 3rd and 10, I don't have to force the ball down the field. I can just dump it off to my tight end, and maybe he'll break one tackle or run somebody over, and that's exactly what happened.
From the UCF 35. And Bortles trying to hit Perriman. This time he made the catch at the 42, a gain of 7. Clowney not in on that play.
If I'm Blake Bortles in the huddle right now, I'm telling each one of my wide receivers, I'm telling Perriman, I'm telling Godfrey, I'm telling Wharton, listen, for us to get back in this game, we're going to have to make some plays in a passing game. It's going to be man-to-man coverage. I'm going to throw the ball in tight windows. You guys have got to come down with the football. And right there, Perriman comes back after the drop to make a play for his quarterback.
We also saw Wharton have a drop in the first half and a long ball that was catchable, and then one go off his face mask because he wasn't ready for a throw. And here's a quarterback draw, and the ball is out. Bortles lost it, able to track it down back at the 31-yard line. He had it taken away from him by Gerald Dixon, and they're giving it to South Carolina. Bortles had it on the ground. Dixon was in there also, and they give it to South Carolina. Let's see here if Bortles ever had possession.
Well, Bortles was obviously the first person to get there. He slid down. The question is, did he keep it? No, he didn't. And Dixon, great effort to get down there and rip that football away from Bortles.
Did it not look simultaneous, though? Didn't it look like both guys had possession and the play is dead?
No.
Or did it look like clearly Dixon had possession?
Listen, you have a defensive end and a quarterback on the bottom of the pile. That ball's never coming out with the quarterback.
You speak from experience.
I don't care who you are.
And South Carolina tried to snap it quickly before they could review it, but the officials blow it dead. And George O'Leary may have tried to call a timeout to challenge it. Don't know if that came from upstairs or came from the sideline with the head coach.
UCF head coach has called a timeout to challenge the ruling on the field. The fumble recovered by South Carolina.
Again, if it's ruled that either Bortles had possession or simultaneous, then it would be the offense's football.
Well, I think this is a good challenge. Obviously, this is a good challenge by George O'Leary because it's such a pivotal play in the game.
But again, ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by South Carolina.
When Bortles gets back on that football initially, he doesn't have control of the ball. And so right there, does not have control of the football. And so Dixon has every right to that ball. And he ends up coming away from the pile with the football. I don't think there's any way that ruling is overturned.
I think if the original ruling had been UCF ball, it wouldn't get overturned.
I don't agree.
So you think that's clearly a fumble recovery by South Carolina? I don't think it's clear.
I do. I don't think that Bortles had possession of the ball, which he has to have possession of the ball, and he didn't
unless
ever
it's
have
simultaneous, unless both guys have it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that Bortles ever had it. And either way, I think just like at the bottom of the pile when you can't see, you know, the bigger guys can come away from it with that football.
It likely will not be overturned, but George O'Leary had to. That's pretty much the ball game. Had to take a chance there. South Carolina was up there quickly to snap it. They figured he was either coming from upstairs or from the sideline with a coach's challenge.
It's been a tough day for Bortles. You know, he came in first half, he looked good. Started 8 out of 10, and then in the second half, they haven't had a whole lot of opportunities, and they've sputtered.
The previous play is not a reviewable play. A fumble recovered in the field of play. The first down, South Carolina.
All right, so the officials took a long time and then made the announcement that it's not a reviewable play. So South Carolina ball at the 31-yard line, trying to put away UCF. 12.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. It was 10-0 Central Florida at halftime. Two back again. We'll see if they just hammer Davis between the tackles. They stack the box on defense, and here goes Davis at the 25. First down to the 19. 12 yards for Davis. Again, it was Patrick, the right guard, out there blocking for him.
Same play over and over. There's no scheme here in the second half. This is the same play, and it's can you stop our physical run game? And Central Florida knows what's coming. They know exactly what's coming, and even though they know that, Mike Davis is getting to the second level and is one-on-one with the safety.
Just to clean up a loose ball in the middle of the field, recovery situation like that, not reviewable unless it's in the end zone or on the sideline. Davis again to the 15. They're just wearing down that D-line of UCF and taking time off the clock.
Now the rain has started to come down again. A little mist here. And for South Carolina, it's all about ball security. You can seal this victory away with any points here. You got to hold on to the football.
Here comes the rain in Orlando. 2nd down and 5 at the 15-yard line. And the ball slipped out of the hands of Thompson. He got it to Davis, and down he goes. And a huge 3rd down coming up. UCF's defense as we approach 11 minutes to go.
And I expect here 3rd and 5. Another running play to Mike Davis to protect the football. If you get a field goal here, go up 2 touchdowns. It'll be under 10 minutes left, and in a driving rainstorm, it'll be hard for UCF to get back in this game with 2 scores.
South Carolina over 50% 3rd down conversion rate. They'll run Davis. He's got it easily. He's got another touchdown. His 3rd of the day. Mike Davis only had 7 touches in the first half. Now you look up at his numbers, and he's got 145 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
What do you think? He one of the better backs in the SEC?
I think number 2 to Gurley, Georgia. Although
better than Jeremy Hill?
Hill's pretty good as well at LSU.
There's a lot of good backs in the SEC, man.
We saw Hill in person last year. Haven't seen him in person this year, as the point after makes it 28-10. But I think Davis is right up there.
Well, I tell you what, he hasn't played a whole lot, but what he has played, he's been productive. And in the second half, it's been too much Mike Davis for
huge for this program. It really has no bearing on whether they would play in a BCS game. Your stand back across the 15 and slipped and fell short of the 20. As for South Carolina's schedule, Kentucky is up next at home. Then 3 straight road games, all winnable. And then their final 4 games at home. Florida's banged up. Driscoll out, easily out, and then they've had Clemson's number.
Yeah, they have, and they may need some time to get healthy, right? Brandon Wilds, Connor Shaw. We don't know what's going to become of those 2 injuries, but South Carolina, you would say they're going to be favored in every single game up until that Clemson game. And they're going to leave tonight, get home, and be big fans of the LSU Tigers. You know that for sure.
There's Johnson on the screen, and a tackle just short of the 1st down by T.J. Holloman.
You take a look at this defense. If we look forward to the South Carolina schedule, where the concerns are, I think it's without question in the secondary and at linebacker. They sorely miss the likes of Devontae Holloman and DJ Swearinger. I think that's a concern going forward.
Here's Bortles back to throw, and Clowney got a hand in there, and Bortles still delivers a strike to Hall. He gets a block. He's down the sideline. He'll take it all the way. Touchdown, UCF. There is a penalty flag down, though, back at the 45-yard line.
Rashad Perriman, the wide receiver, number 11, came back and got a crack block on Ahmad Christian. It looked like a clean block in real time, but that's where the flag has been thrown. Obviously, they're treating the crackback block like a defenseless receiver, right? So you can't leave with the crown of your helmet. But it looked like it was a clean block. But that's what this flag is.
There is no foul for targeting of a defensive player. The contact is at the shoulder. Result of the play, touchdown.
You got it right.
Thank you.
The officials got it right.
Well, thank you for picking up the flag.
Right.
I mean, that's a great job by those officials. More than one official seeing that. And yes, it was a violent play. Yes, it was a defenseless player, but it was a clean shot.
73-yard touchdown, and quickly Central Florida right back in it. They're going to go for 2 to try to cut it to 10. Do you need to go for 2 right now?
No, you don't have to right now. I mean, you're going to cut it to 10. You still need 2 scores,
but if you just kick the extra points, I mean, you're going to need a 2-point play at some point.
Right.
And they elect to go for it here on this score. Borders on the rollout. Wide open in the back of the end zone is J.J. Wharton. He's got it for 2 points.
This is the touchdown. It's a great throw. You're just going to get. Here is Rashad Perriman on the top of your screen. Take a look. After Hall gets the ball, he's going to come back and hit Ahmad Christian. Great throw, by the way, over the linebacker of Go Lightly. Now here comes right there. That's a clean block.
Yep.
And I understand that we're trying to protect players, and sometimes the flag comes out, quickly out of that official's pocket. But a great job of that crew huddling, getting together, and making the right call.
I mean, if he doesn't make that block,
yep,
then Hall doesn't score.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then the 2-point conversion to Wharton, and it's a 10-point game with about 10 minutes left.
All right, they're giving themselves a chance, and they've got all 3 timeouts left. Question is not whether they can score on offense, because they've got some explosive players. The question is, how are they going to slow down Mike Davis? And they haven't been able to do it to the tune of 145 yards, most of which have come in the second half.
And if you're Steve Spurrier, do you go back to throwing the ball, or do you just say, we're going to just pound it? You haven't stopped us.
No, you're going to pound the football. You're going to pound Mike Davis and that power running game until they prove they can stop it. They scored on a power 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line. So,
a Spurrier, you never know.
No.
South Carolina was prepared for an onside kick, and now Demir Bird drops deep. We'll see if Galvin just kicks it deep here. We saw him kick a line drive off of a player on Memphis, but elected to keep it with a deep kick, and it'll be a touchback, come out to the 25. Let's go to the studio and Robert.
All right, guys, coming up in our next window of games, some of you will see Jameis Winston and Florida State taking on Boston College. That game coming up here on ABC or ESPN2. Check your local listings. Or some of you will see Mitch Leidner and Minnesota host Iowa in Big Ten action. That's coming up on ABC or ESPN2.
All right, Robert, and of course tonight Wisconsin and Ohio State at 8 Eastern. You picked the Badgers, right?
Well, yeah, and the reason why I did, do you know how many points Ohio State's offense scored in regulation a year ago?
14?
7. They had a punt return, right? So they had 7 points before it went to overtime. And Chris Borland, we had him a couple weeks ago, is a beast. I just don't think that Ohio State's going to score as many points as people think they are. And Braxton Miller, we don't know how mobile he's going to be.
Mike Davis doesn't get much there. Good stop by Plummer on 1st and 10. A gain of 2 for Davis. Now 2nd and 8 coming up. Must-stop situation here for the Knights.
You got to sell out. You got to sell out with safeties in the box. And you're right. The question is, at what point does Steve Spurrier allow Dylan Thompson off of play action, maybe take a shot over the top with Andre Ellington?
Stop Rainey was coming down pretty hard the last possession for South Carolina, and Thompson had trouble with the snap on one play, perhaps because of that. He's going to throw it here, and Thompson has a wide open man. The defender slipped, and it's caught for a first down by Demir Bird. Gain of about 10. There is a penalty flag down on the field on the near side.
And with just a little bit of dew on the grass from that rain, footing is becoming an issue. And that time, Jacoby Glenn, the corner, was down on the ground, an easy conversion.
Looks like the penalties on South Carolina. At least that's what all the UCF players are signaling.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 3 plays, 2nd down.
That's big. Instead of 1st and 10, now you're 2nd and 13. And the clock stopped. Do you go back to the ground game, or assuming that UCF's going to stack the box, do you let Thompson throw it?
No, if you were comfortable throwing it on 2nd and 8, why wouldn't you be comfortable on 2nd and 13? The advantage right now in the passing game is with the offensive team because of the slick field. Receivers know where they're going. Defenders don't. It's harder to change direction.
And Thompson will throw. Pressure coming. His pass is low and incomplete. Bird, the intended receiver. Now the clock is stopped, and it's 3rd down and 13.
Well, that was exactly the same play. Same play action look. Same route on the outside. This time, Dylan Thompson just didn't throw an accurate ball. And you're right. Not only does it an incomplete pass, but stops the clock.
Now you're looking at another pass play here. 3rd down and 13. Thompson just 14 of 31 on the day. Pretty good, though, on 3rd down and long. We'll see if UCF brings pressure. Now they rush forward, drop everybody else. Stepping up, Thompson in trouble. They finally got him. Sacked at the 17-yard line, Thomas Niles. They whiffed several times earlier, and Niles has been offside a handful of times, but not here.
Just a speed rush around Corey Robinson. The one thing about Corey Robinson, he's 6'8", 340 pounds. He's a mountain of a man, but he doesn't have the quickest feet, and Niles uses speed to get around the edge and give Central Florida's offense another crack at it.
They had one bad snap earlier, and they've had problems in the kicking game all year, but a good snap here and a good punt. Wharton backing up. Fields it at his 27-yard line. Makes the first man miss. At the 40, at midfield. Inside the South Carolina 40-yard line, no flags.
Great job by Wharton to get that one cut. You just got to make that first line miss. That one cut right there allows him to get north and south and give UCF a short field to start from the 38-yard line.
34-yard return after a 53-yard punt. .43-yard line of South Carolina. See what Bortles can do. 73-yard touchdown pass on the last play for UCF. And some miscommunication with a receiver Hall and Bortles, and then Clowney getting into it with an offensive lineman at midfield, but right in front of the referee, and no flag.
Well, they switched Clowney to the other side. Now he's going against Chris Martin. Martin is a very athletic player, and when you get Clowney on the ground, he's going to take his shot. That's a legal play, and Clowney certainly doesn't like it. I don't know if I would really upset him very often. But, I mean, but you got to take that shot when you finally get him on the ground. And those offensive linemen, they love to take that shot. We'll see what happens on this play. Nobody's upset.
No sacks, but a few hurries for Clowney. 2nd down and 10. They double team him here, and Bortles dumps it off. Inside the 30-yard line is Tukes, and it looks like he's got the first down. And he took out a couple of Carolina defenders, including Jimmy Legree, who lost his helmet, and the linebacker Kawan Lewis as well.
Well, Tukes goes 260 pounds. When you go to tackle him, you're going to feel it. There he is right here. Great job. He's going to get a little chip and then just release, and everybody else is gone. Great read by Bortles just to drop it off. Take a look. There goes everybody in man coverage, and there's nobody left. Did he get the first down? Looks like he did.
So with Lewis banged up, we've got an official timeout. Back in a moment. Central Florida on the move, trailing by 10. They get a first down on Justin Tukes, a 10-yard catch and run, and see the contact with the corner. Jimmy Legree was shaken up, loses his helmet, so he has to come out. Kawan Lewis also banged up on the play. Inside the 30-yard line of South Carolina, Clowney lined up at right defensive end. And here he comes. Bortles trying to get away from him, and he gets rid of it. Incomplete. Not easy to outrun that guy.
Boy, Torian Wilson was on skates here. Clowney comes with an inside move. That's called speed to power, and he just pushes Wilson back. And then this is the power that he uses to rush, and then the speed to run down Bortles. Bortles is a mobile guy. He can really run. Clowney just gives you no room for error, no angles to get around him, and that's why everybody is so excited about his talent.
You see where he's lined up, and he may not get a sack today, and people may look at the stat and say, well, where was Clowney? But you really have to watch the game to get a sense of how well he's played and how he's impacted the game. On second down, Bortles going deep, and another interception. It's T.J. Holloman with the pick, and he brings it back close to the 20-yard line. A costly giveaway inside the 30-yard line of South Carolina by Bortles.
Boy, if he throws that ball on the back end line, take a look. Here's Bryson Williams. Take a look at him playing on the second level. If this ball needs to go over, Williams goes outside. If that ball is thrown by the back of the end zone, it's wide open for a touchdown. A little bit of pressure may have gotten to him. They ran a stunt. Clowney came in, and then that's Kelsey Quarles came free, and I don't think that Bortles could step into that throw like he wanted to. So again, this is where we talk about the effect of Jadeveon Clowney, right? People think it has to be a sack. No, they run a stunt. Kelsey Quarles comes free because of that stunt, and Bortles is not able to step into that pass and prevents a touchdown. That's the effect of Clowney.
Here's Davis. He gets planted at the 22-yard line by Geathers. Ball came out, but they're going to rule him down. He recovered it anyway. Gain of 2, second down and 8 coming up. Clock running, 6.5 and counting. Central Florida with all of its timeouts. There's so much talk about Clowney, not because he won the Ted Hendricks Award last year, 13 sacks and 23.5 tackles for loss. It's because of the one play, the one hit. In the Michigan game last year, the hype skyrocketed for Clowney. Some had him as a Heisman candidate coming into the year. Really, his numbers, he's only got one fewer sack at this point that he had last year through 3 games. So the numbers are similar. But if you've been watching the entire game, you can see how he's impacted the entire offense for UCF, as Davis does well to push the pile to the 26-yard line. They had him back at the 22. Got about 4 more yards. And there's some that say that's the best and the worst thing that happened to Jadeveon Clowney that hit in the Michigan game last year because of the pressure and the height.
Yeah, I don't put much stock into that hit. I mean, it wasn't even blocked. Most guys in college football would make that play. Now, they don't know if they'll knock the guy's helmet off, but that's a play that every defensive end would make. Now, Clowney, the thing that's impressive about him is he has maintained his composure. He's continued to be unselfish. He did have that comment after the Georgia game, I want to move around, and I think that he's validated in saying some of that, and they can use him more effectively. But his effect on games, we need to stop thinking that, oh, it has to be 10 sacks. It has to be 13 tackles for loss. You know, that has no bearing on how good a player he actually is. And at this level, because you can account for a guy like that with sliding protection and chipping and all that, you can't do that at the NFL level as easily because everybody on the defense is good. And so when he gets to the National Football League, you're going to see he's going to have significantly more singles that he can beat, and he'll have the numbers just like any other good defensive end in the National Football League.
There was some talk about his conditioning week 1, but you were there, and you needed to take some plays off, and you weren't even in the game.
Well, Mayday was on the desk with me. He needed an IV, it looked like. He was just sitting there.
Big third down for UCF. A must-stop. Pitch to Davis. And he got the first down. Out to the 34-yard line, an 8-yard run. Now, Mike Davis, so talented. You talked earlier about the vision to get to the hole and then make the cut. You see that with him.
Yeah, and I think good teams finish off games with physical running backs. And, you know, down the field before the game, just looking at Mike Davis reminds me of Ray Rice, but with more explosion. You know, he's low to the ground, he's strong. We saw him the last play. He keeps pumping his legs. And he is a very talented guy with a bright future. And the SEC is going to see a lot of Mike Davis the next couple of years.
There he is again. Big hole. to the 40-yard line for sixth down.
Over the course of the last several years, guys, I've had the privilege of evaluating all these guys coming out, from DeMarco Murray to Bryce Brown to Trent Richardson, and now Mike Davis. Seeing them grow from high school to the next level, Mike Davis reminds me of a young Trent Richardson. He's got that same low, powerful base, but that innate ability to jump cut in a phone booth and then immediately get moving forward with the forward lean, and the ability to break the initial tackle and extend plays, what George O'Leary at Central Florida calls hidden yardage. I think that's what makes him special. No question.
Hey, Tom, Grease asked me where I would rank him in the SEC. Let me ask you, do you put him number 2, Gurley? Do you see him as better than Jeremy Hill? Where do you think he ranks at this? And we only really have a sample size here of him because he didn't get a lot of carries last year.
Well, I broadcasted a game of Jeremy Hill in high school. I know him well. I think that Mike Davis has more explosiveness and suddenness. Combine that with the power than Hill and TJ Yeldon. What I do believe is he's a shorter version of a combination between Keith Marshall and Todd Gurley.
See how he danced around that on you?
That was a great answer, I thought. He agreed with me.
I gave you a smorgasbord, guys.
I just like the fact you agreed with me. Second down and 4, Sean Carson is in.
Can't make a living doing that, Tom. Agreeing with Pat.
5 minutes to go. Central Florida used a timeout, so just one left for the Knights. 229 rushing yards for South Carolina. So in all 4 games against North Carolina, Georgia, Vanderbilt, and now UCF, 220 yards rushing or more.
What's amazing for Mike Davis is he just passed his career high with 162 yards, and he only had 15 in the first half.
Yeah.
I think the next thing for Mike Davis in his progression, obviously he's a very talented back around the ball, but the next thing for me is for him to be catching the ball out of the backfield, consistently being able to run routes out of the backfield. If he can do that and add that element to his game, and he certainly has the talent and ability to do so, he could be unstoppable.
Our truck is working hard trying to ascertain the reason for the stoppage here.
Please reset the game clock to 5 minutes, 2 seconds.
So a 2-second add-on to the clock.
Reset the game clock to 5:02 remains.
10-point lead for South Carolina. Only one timeout remaining for Central Florida. Second down and 4 for the Gamecocks at their 40-yard line. And again, it's Sean Carson is in, and then movement by Mason Zandy. Hey, the visor came off for the first time.
74 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
As mad as he was in the first half, the visor stayed on, but
yeah, I think he was disgusted with the way they played in the first half. But when the visor doesn't come off with disgust, it only comes off with anger.
South Carolina 35, only one timeout remaining for Central Florida. Thompson holding onto the ball, and this might be a face mask penalty. Tackled at the 36-yard line. Terrence Plummer on the tackle.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. 41. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Terrence Plummer just trying to get him on the ground. And when you reach high, you're going to get that face mask.
And if you pull or tug, they're going to call it no more incidental face mask, just 15-yard personal foul. He definitely tugged it. Well, that'll put the ball in UCF territory. Mike Davis back out there for South Carolina. For those of you looking for the Florida State Boston College or Iowa Minnesota games, they have started. See it on ESPN2. And here's Davis. Wrapped up after minimal gain. Let's go to the studio and Robert.
Hey, check out what happened in this Liv Moss moment presented by Taco Bell. Oklahoma State going in for the go-ahead score, or at least a tying field goal. Instead, they get neither. Jeremy Smith dragged down in the backfield. Then they missed the field goal. West Virginia's driving up 3 on ESPN.
Wow. Mountaineers haven't had a whole lot of things go right this year. That would be big if they could knock off Oklahoma State. Well, even if Central Florida loses this game, they're still in the hunt for a BCS Bowl because the American Athletic Conference gets a bid, but that one right there on ESPN October 18th, big.
That's it. And you know, I know they're not going to win this game, but I think their defense certainly played better than expected. I know they got run over in the second half with a powerful, big offensive line and a great back in Mike Davis, but Louisville doesn't have that kind of. They have Michael Dyer, but they don't have the kind of offensive line and rushing attack that South Carolina does. So it'll be a great matchup between quarterbacks, in my opinion. Teddy Bridgewater and Blake Bortles. Probably a high-scoring affair, and everybody kind of was resigned at the beginning of the year. Louisville's got the American just all locked up, but all of a sudden, now UCF has played really well in beating Penn State on the road. They challenged South Carolina at home, and don't forget about Rutgers-Ebert.
There's Davis, gain of a couple. Terrence Plummer on the tackle, so third down and long. Central Florida out of timeouts.
And that's an automatic BCS bid in the American Conference still, so that'll be a big game.
Well, you said at the top you think Bortles is playing as well as Bridgewater, if not better, and we'll get to see them head-to-head. Charlie Strong has done a terrific job at Louisville. Think of where that program was 3-4 years ago. And he's done an excellent job there. Third and long, we'll see if they just keep it on the ground. No. Thompson rolling out and throwing, got a man wide open. Gerald Adams inside the 10 and out of bounds. It'll be first and goal for South Carolina.
Well, that play was there whenever they wanted it. All the running they've done in this second half is hard play action, get the tight end in our corner out, and there was nobody within 10 yards of Adams.
45 yards, so first and goal on the 3. We'll see if they look to give Mike Davis his 4th rushing touchdown. Casey just turned it on. Dylan Thompson replaced Connor Shaw after Shaw injured his right shoulder on the first drive. Here's Davis, lost the ball, covered by UCF at the 5-yard line. Recovered by Dion Green. And so the Knights take over down 10 without a timeout. 3:18 left.
There's a miscommunication up front because nobody blocked either linebacker. Nowhere for Mike Davis to go with that football, and Michael Easton puts a hat on the ball. Plummer was there too, but that was poorly executed from the offensive line up front. Got to hold on to the football if you're Mike Davis, but I know he wasn't expecting 2 linebackers free in the hole, that's for sure.
Great hit by Easton, putting a hat right on the ball. So down 10. And no Clowney right now. Bortles. That pressure in his face. In the open field is Johnson. Got the first down. Not near the 19-yard line. 8 of 14. We'll shake it up on the play. Clock will restart. And set the chains in the ball.
A late substitution for Storm Johnson. Looks like he got dinged, taking valuable seconds off the clock.
And movement by just about everybody on the offensive line.
No play. Flags on the field.
False start. 64 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
David Smith had his pick that time, and he chose the right guard.
Well, he should have picked. When everybody else moves, it's normally the center that was supposed to snap the ball. So it wasn't Justin McCray's fault there, okay?
Clock at 2:42 and counting. First down and 15. Taking a lot of time off the clock. And Bortles got a man wide open in the middle of the field. It's Perriman. Still going inside the 30. To the 10. Dives, but he stepped out. It'll be first and goal at the 7-yard line. Not over yet here in Orlando.
Did he step out at the end with the left foot? Yes, right there on about the 8-yard line. What a route. What a route by Brashad Perriman. Take a look. It's a double move to the outside. He's going to get Bryson Williams, the safety, to bite. I have no idea why Williams was biting on that route. You got to keep everything in front of you. And Perriman has the speed to make you pay on the back end.
Well, it took a lot of time off the clock when they reset the ball. They ran it, and UCF took about 15, 20 seconds. Here's Bortles, end zone, wide open, touchdown. Rennell Hall with the touchdown. And they're an extra point away from making it a 3-point game with still 1:54 on the clock.
The biggest Achilles heel for South Carolina so far this year has been their secondary. And again, when the game looks like it's wrapped up, they let UCF get back in the game with 2 double moves for big plays.
Remember, it was 28-0 against Vanderbilt. They were dominating Vanderbilt. It ended up being 35-25, the final score 2 weeks ago in that game.
And here's Rennell Hall right here. He's going to run a quick double move, and Victor Hampton's going to bite on it for no reason. He's got help inside. There's no reason for him to be biting on that route. That's just being selfish. That's a selfish play right there, trying to go for interception. You know you have help on the inside. He's trying to get an interception, and you hurt your football team. You got one early in the game on a skinny post, but it's the inconsistency of this secondary that has really plagued Steve Spurrier and this team.
So it comes down to this. They have to onside kick. If they get it, they still have a shot. If they don't, South Carolina recovers. The game is essentially over because UCF cannot stop the clock. And South Carolina can take a knee 3 times. The Gamecocks have had their troubles on special teams. They've had some issues today in that area. We mentioned earlier that UCF's kicker, Sean Galvin, one time, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, we're not sure, he kicked it so hard it hit a Memphis player, and then he recovered it. It was a line drive. We'll see if that's what they attempt, or he just tries to hammer it into the ground here. Three-point game.
There's only 3 guys up here at the top, and 4 guys for Central Florida. They got the numbers.
Galvin ready for the onside kick. And South Carolina's got it. Ellington inside the 30 and out of bounds.
That ball never got up in the air, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that it's a little bit wet down there. It kind of skidded on the grass rather than bounced up in the air like UCF really wanted it to.
Yeah, that was pretty easy recovery there for South Carolina, right to Ellington. UCF couldn't get players down there in time. But you said they had numbers up top. They went away from that.
Yeah, sometimes they'll look, they'll actually check that play, the onside kick on numbers. But evidently they liked what they saw on the other side of the field.
So South Carolina can take a knee 3 times, and this game will be over. Never a gimme. With maybe the ball a little slippery. We've had rain, turf a little slippery. You get the exchange and the knee the first time. And obviously with Connor Shaw not returning to this game and question marks about his availability going forward, it's going to impact the race in the SEC East. Georgia's got a big one today with LSU. Alabama playing Ole Miss tonight at 6:30. A great SEC matchup on ESPN.
Well, South Carolina is going to squeak out of here with a victory and go home and become big LSU Tiger fans as they play the Georgia Bulldogs tonight. But they hope that their starting quarterback Connor Shaw will come back healthy. But I got to tell you, there's less concerns about the South Carolina offense and their quarterback than there is about the secondary.
One more knee coming. First year's Robert Flores.
A little bit away from wrapping things up right now on ESPN2. You got Iowa and Minnesota, Florida State and Boston College. One of those 2 games will be coming up either here on ABC or on ESPN2. Check your local listings just to be sure. Guys.
All right, Roflo, and one more knee coming here. Dylan Thompson in South Carolina is going to wrap this up. We thought it would be a game that UCF would have to stop South Carolina. It did in the first half, but could not in the second half. And Steve Spurrier and the Gamecocks win it. They go to 3-1. UCF falls to 3-1. 3-point win for South Carolina on a true road game here in Orlando.
And more question marks for South Carolina on defense.
Yeah, they allowed Bortles to throw for a career high 358 yards. A lot of those coming in the fourth quarter. 28-25, South Carolina beats Central Florida. Coming up next, regional college football coverage. Florida State versus Boston College. Iowa against Minnesota. So long from Orlando.